And we are live.
Hey, welcome back to the what show is this again?
OnlyFans. Subscribe to our Instagram, Slums of Harvard, and OnlyKings. OnlyFans. You have an OnlyFans, right?
Not yet. I'm not that broke.
Oh,
What would you put on your OnlyFans?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. I don't have.
Nothing,
I'm not really
about me is money worth.
Yeah, I'm not really well endowed. I don't have good feet. Not a great bod.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe me spinning a frisbee on my finger.
True.
In different outfits.
Oh yeah. What the fuck happened to your Achilles or some shit?
Just fucking getting old, I guess. Just took a step and pop went the old leg.
The old weasel.
The old weasel.
Did you get checked out? Did you go to a doctor?
Trainer said it wasn't torn. I have a physical therapist friend that said it wasn't torn, so hopefully just strained. Also don't have health insurance.
Mood.
So we're just going to ride it out.
I've got health care for the next year and some change. I think like year and 3 months for free to the VA before I have to start ponying up and paying for myself.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Anyway, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
First episode in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Glad you guys are here. This is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't had a drink in like 3.5 weeks. That tastes great.
That's what I've been asking this question to a lot of people, but ever since like I started drinking in college, somebody somewhere told me you cheers and then you hit the table and then you drink.
Yeah.
Why do you hit the table?
I have no idea. I just think it's to make noise.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I think it's to make noise. Like, hey, the time of drinking is because you don't like when I pour your second one, we're not gonna, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, drinking starts now.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
It's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
Part of the fun.
It's part of being a man.
If you have a better reason for cheersing and hitting the table, make sure you
Shut the
put
fuck
that
up
in-
about it
yeah.
because this is our show right now, and that's why we're doing it.
That's true. Put it in the comments.
That's a good old fashioned though.
Right? It's not
Yeah,
bad.
the pre-mix.
Because I don't fuck with pre-mixed stuff, and I kept seeing that at Costco, and he is actually the one that turned me on to because he had brought it for an episode, right?
Oh, he turns
yeah,
you
last
on.
time I was here.
Yeah.
How does he turn you on?
Yeah, maybe this.
With this not rocking pod and his fucked up Achilles tendon.
Yeah, that's what gets
I like
him
the
going.
clicking when I'm pounding him from behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Clicking.
Turn all the lights off and play. What's that? What's that game? The
Nightcrawlers.
Ooh, I love that game.
I was thinking Twister.
Yeah. Twister's fun.
My
Naked
body
Twister.
my body sounds like a metronome when I'm in rhythm. Click, 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 click.
I've got an announcement to make, guys, but this might be the last time I have the Slums on the podcast because they decided to go off and cheat on me and go on a different podcast.
Oh man,
And we had a contract.
we did.
We did. We
No,
were locked in at a $100,000 a year contract with OnlyKings.
Yeah, we had a.
Why do you think all my studios were so shitty?
Yeah, we had a 25 episode deal with OnlyKings, and we only got to 24.
No, that was a good episode though between you and Pierce. Check out the 505 Connection. He's doing cool stuff.
Yeah, that was a fun podcast for
Nice-
sure.
nice
I
guy.
didn't know that they made houses out there.
Yeah. So when was this? Back in 2021, I think. Because there's a gym. If you go, so where his place is, right in that like condominium complex. If you keep going, there's a gym out there called Soul Fitness, and a buddy of mine's a trainer out there, and I had gone for the grand opening, and literally the whole purpose of that that complex and then the gym is that Netflix is right next to it. So people in that complex are either engineers, like he is, right? Works down at the labs, so rather than fighting your way through Albuquerque to get to the Air Force Base, you just going through the back, right? So it's that. It's people that work at Netflix that have a shit ton of money. And then it's people that have a shit ton of money, bought the complexes, and then rent them out to people that come into Netflix for like 4 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and they can live there.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah,
you think
and-
some stars will stay in there?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What?
And then that
Should go
gym,
trick-or-treating there
like
next
the whole
year.
point. That's what
If I'm ever homeless, I'm going to be homeless over there.
I mean, half of them have been to the island anyway. So you just show up, and you're like, I know you got.
I
candy.
know you have candy.
I know you have candy. Anyway, in that gym, the whole purpose of like their whole business pitch to their investors, from what I've been told, was, hey, Netflix is there, it's growing. Amazon's bringing in people for their movie stuff, and they subcontract out Netflix's lot sometimes. There's a lot of need here. And I think like in the first 8 months or so, they had the main dude from Queer Eye, I think, was out there, right? The main couple of guys. And then they had like a couple of like Netflix shit out there. Yeah, let it on with the gay jokes.
Nothing.
Okay, yeah, nothing. Okay, I don't watch Queer Eye. I saw it on social media.
I hear he's a woman now.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, that was the whole point of that complex out there. So it's a bitch of a drive to go out there.
There's a school out there too.
But
They just built a new school.
oh shit.
Yeah, because I would go with the rock climbing wall for work a couple times a year, and it was just like a school of portables. But now they have like a permanent location on the other side of the street.
So we can go and pitch movies out there.
Yeah, I
Think we can knock on the golden red end.
Well, because of the security company that I work for, we have the contract for the Netflix lot, and because I guess something is happening in the next like month and a half, 2 months, because Jaron from Side Montero, he just did a table read for a TV show they're doing out there, like the same company from LeBron James that did Resball.
Yeah.
They're doing a series out there.
Nice.
And he just did a table read, so they're filming that, and they're filming like 2 other bigger projects. And so they need like 20 more guards out there.
Yeah.
And so in preparation for that, I'm getting a tour of the lot.
Nice.
And I'm doing all my interviews out there. I'm doing all my like what have you out there.
Nice.
So I'm very fucking excited for that.
Nice.
I'm very excited. I'm gonna take those cars and just scatter them all over the lot.
Nice.
Marketing.
Yeah. Maybe you'll see the black couch.
Oh, I know.
That's how you get cast.
I know. How crazy is it that like in the 40s, and there's stories of this now, in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, these movie producers and like the heads of studios in their office, like they would have big enough offices to have like a lounging, like that classic like therapy bed.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it all started when I was a boy, and like laying down on the couch, like that type of like where it had like the head and it sloops down.
Yeah.
Like that. They had those. They had actual like full size beds, so that when the starlets would come in, like, how bad do you want this
Oh,
part?
Jesus.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that was a thing. Like they had their office big enough for the fuck station. I'm proud to announce that the podcast is now officially sponsored by the fine people over at Chop Chili Company. Guys, this is some of the best chili you can get here in the state of New Mexico, and they are online as well as in stores. They can be found at Smith's, Albertsons, Sprouts, John Brooks, and Lowe's Corner Market. They have 3 amazing flavors that you see here, and they also have frozen green chili that you can get online. Go on over to the website, chopchilico.com, and get yourself some amazing chili today. Podcast is now officially sponsored by the amazing people over at High Desert Relief, a premier herbal destination right here in the state of New Mexico. They have extremely well-trained and knowledgeable staff that are more than happy to help you find what you're looking for, or try something that you maybe have never thought of. They have 2 locations here in Albuquerque, 1 in Santa Fe. All 3 will be listed right here and in the description of this episode. All 3 offering legendary products at absolutely legendary prices, including this awesome merch that they were so kind enough to gift me here. All of this can be found at all 3 of their locations. Again, big thank you to the guys over at HDR for supporting. Now back to the episode. So they could sign the contract right then and there.
That's ridiculous.
That's a real thing.
It was too easy back then, man.
Yeah. It's too hard now, I think.
I was gonna go to directing school, and then I heard that.
All I ever wanted to do was be a movie producer, and then I found all the fun got taken out of it.
Jesus.
Now you have to hire people based on talent. What the fuck?
all this new DEI.
Dude, that is actually an issue, though. Like the whole you know what he's talking about?
No clue.
So there's
I can't even get into REI. Too brown.
They should let you in. You'll blend in with the wallpaper.
That's true.
You'll be in like the mosaics of your people.
Maybe that's a way to sneak in.
But basically, so it's DEI, ESG, and oh fuck, there's a third one. And
OPP?
basically, they're these fucking they're these like scores that I don't know. Now I don't know exactly who assigns these scores, but think of them like credit scores, right? And so for ESG is environmental stuff. So how environmentally friendly is your company? DEI is how it's diversity. Fuck.
Something inclusion.
Yeah, something in inclusion, exactly. And so basically what it is, it's like how, I mean, they're waving the social justice flag, right? It's like how inclusive is your company? How inclusive are your products? How diverse are your products? Are you representing all peoples? You know, all that type of bullshit.
Yeah.
And basically what that leads to is like the Star Wars sequel trilogy being trash because it only focused pretty much on how do we demask, like,
Why are all the stormtroopers white?
well, think about it, right? So, like that was
They had a black president
well, that was the
before we did.
that who
The stormtroopers?
Darth Vader.
Oh, that's true.
Anakin's white, you fucking
hey. I never seen it. I just seen the mask, man.
But no, that was the big controversy with episode 7 because if you remember in the trailers they were showing John Boyega's character is going to be a Jedi, and it turns out to be Rey, the chick, became the Jedi, right?
Yeah.
And then anyway, my point is so a lot of these companies are forcing these diversity hires, diversity inclusion shit to get a better score because they get more money. I'd imagine for places like BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, all these other big hedge fund companies.
Yeah.
Right. So they get more money to their stuff, but at least really shitty products. I mean, I haven't seen like the last 3 Marvel movies because of how everything I've heard about them, how shitty they are. But on the other hand, I was a fucking moron and I spent $70 on the new Suicide Squad game. And it's installed on my PC, ready to play tomorrow.
I play that game all the time.
And
Let's get a bunch of my friends, a couple of ropes.
have you seen? Okay, I'm assuming you guys have taste, so you like Robin Williams, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you see him like fucking Robin Williams, you can sit outside all day.
All right, Pete.
Yeah. So there's a movie. It's super dark. It's called World's Greatest Dad. Mm-hmm. You ever heard of that movie?
Never.
Okay, so single father, not having a good time, son's a fuck up, he's trying to fix his son, all that type of stuff, right? Mid-50s, son is like 16, 17, son has a fucking ravenous porn addiction, right?
Yeah.
And this movie was made in like 2002, so this is like dial-up porn, right?
Legend.
So
They knew what your life was going to be like before you were born.
Oh,
This is about you.
So
my biopic.
so what happens?
I would want Robin Williams to play me.
Too late. Sorry.
Not with AI.
Not with AI.
AI, he's coming back.
Hey.
Oh, Jesus. But they so what happens in the movie is the son he's jerking off, and he uses like a belt or a rope or something to like choke himself.
Yeah.
And so what happens is he ends up tying it to something, or it's like a mishap happens.
Yeah.
And he accidentally kills himself by suffocation while he's jerking off.
Yeah.
So Robin Williams comes home, finds him, and his first emotion is embarrassment because of what his son just did.
Yeah.
The sorrow and remorse and shit comes afterwards, but he's embarrassed. So what he does is he takes his kid's body, hangs it in the closet, makes it look like he just committed suicide.
Yeah.
Calls the cops, the morticians come and shit. But then the whole point of the movie is because of his embarrassment, he writes his kid's own suicide note.
Oh, man.
And then it goes like what viral would have been back then. So it floods through the school, the principals. It makes the news, national news. Like people are expecting him to write a book and all this crazy shit. And it's about him dealing with living off a lie.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's really good. It's really like that and 1 Hour Photo are like super underrated Robin Williams movies.
I've only seen the main ones, the Good Will Hunting,
Yeah.
Aladdin.
RV.
RV is interesting. That's a good movie too. I've seen that movie fucking forever. RV. But yeah, it's good. Really good fucking movies.
All right. Best dead actor.
Best dead actor.
Dead. Okay. Are we? Okay. So let's categorize this question.
Okay.
Best as in like they've made the better movies. They've done this like it's quantifiably better, or like my favorite. Because my favorite stuff's not always the best. You know what I mean?
Just what's your favorite?
My personal. I mean, Robin Williams was up there, bro. What comes to mind?
I gotta say Heath Ledger. I liked his movies. Have you ever seen A Knight's Tale?
And Knight's Tale's fucking
Oh,
amazing.
I love that. Love that movie.
I gotta be honest. The only Heath Ledger movies I've seen are The Dark Knight, Knight's Tale, and then 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's what he's mainly known for.
But I feel like he had to have done other shit.
Brokeback Mountain.
Never saw it.
Leroy's favorite movie.
It's a great movie.
That's his fantasy.
Yes.
That's why we started the band.
That's why I wear so much denim.
He's like, guys, next music video.
Trust,
In a tent.
trust me.
Have you seen fucking Scary Movie 4? Is it 4 or 3 where they make fun of that? And it's Kevin Hart and the big fat black comedian, I forget his name, but they're in the tent and they're like singing to each other, and then one of them brings out a gerbil and some lube. You never seen that?
That might be the fourth one. I've only seen the first three.
Yeah, I think it's the fourth one.
Yeah, the third one is when they're like, and then he woke up dead. It's like,
Yeah.
How do you wake up dead?
Yeah. But yeah, dead actor. I'll go with Robin Williams. Yeah.
Who else is dead?
See, you hear about it and you give a shit in the moment, and then fucking 3 weeks later, you're like, another dead celebrity doesn't come to mind. Oh no, I take that back. No, actually, I take that back. I think and this is purely out of nostalgia, and Robin Williams depending on the day, just because this is how much I've always loved stand-up, but like over the last like 8 months, I must have dived into it. Robin Williams could take the place, but favorite dead actor right now for me is probably Kevin Conroy, the guy who voiced Batman, like Batman the Animated Series, the Justice League cartoon, the Arkham series. He briefly did live action Batman and the CW shows, but especially for right now, yeah, I've been like rewatching the animated series, so probably Kevin Conroy right now.
Yeah. Fucking nerd.
Yeah.
This guy watches anime.
Not the good kind.
Yeah, no tentacles in mine.
I don't know. I don't
You
know.
don't
who's
have
dead.
any? Because I know who your dead musician would be. Mac Miller.
Or Marvin Gaye.
He's dead?
Marvin
he
Gaye
died.
Died a long time
He
ago.
died. It was a big. Wait, is he? No.
His dad stabbed him.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. Look it up.
Yep.
Whoops. Well, so what happened?
I don't know the full story. I just know that his dad stabbed him.
I think because I watched a video on it on YouTube, and YouTube never lies.
Not once.
And
We have not lied once on this podcast.
I think it was basically just a fight, and just they were both drunk, and then the dad took it a little too far or something like that. But also, I was thinking of Jimi Hendrix, who.
One day before his 45th birthday, Gaye was shot and killed by his father in their house in Western Heights, Los Angeles, after an argument. The dad pled no contest to a voluntary manslaughter, received a 6-year suspended sentence and 5 years of probation.
That's it for killing
Yeah.
the greatest talent of not our generation.
Yeah, he got no jail time.
That's fucking crazy. You ever seen the videos of like the isolated vocals videos?
Yes.
The Marvin Gaye ones are fucking
Yeah.
insane.
Him, M. Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold, his is really good. Chester Bennington, Linkin Park,
Yeah.
that's really fucking good too.
Yeah.
I mean, back then you needed talent.
You
Yeah.
really did.
You don't need talent
They
nowadays.
did not have auto-tune back then.
I don't know. I think you still need talent today.
No,
I
you
think-
do. Yeah, for sure.
I think there's like a level of. I hate to shill out and say like industry plant. You know, I hate to say that because I don't want to. A part of me doesn't want to believe it, but those definitely exist. And
I think you need talent to last.
yeah,
Like
and
you don't need talent necessarily to like blow up, but you need it to stay.
you need it to stay relevant. We need more than that to stay relevant, but. I don't know, man. I think a lot of it really does boil down to a perfect concoction of you have at least enough talent to show your worth and to show that people can invest money in you, right? Whether that's raw musical talent or whatever it is you do in a band or as a solo artist, you have appeal, you have the marketability, right? You have to have some level of being attractive, and then whoever it is I think, again, I know nothing about this, but just kind of going off the top of my head, I think you have one shot at entering whatever the big leagues are, especially with music, right?
Yeah.
I think you have one shot. And whoever it is that ushers you into the music industry, they have to be connected to the right people. And then they start, doing their magic. Like that's how, and I'm not denying the talent, but Billie Eilish and her brother, right?
Yeah.
That's their story, is their parents knew the right people and they happen to be super talented. Mm-hmm. So it's like that perfect concoction of, okay, yeah, they have no experience professionally, but they have the talent to where we can put enough money into them, we're not going to lose it.
Yeah.
Right. That's like, as far as if people were if people were stocks, that was a great investment.
Yeah.
Because look at everything they've fucking done off their talent.
And what have your parents done for us?
My dad served our country, you piece of shit. You take that fucking back.
He's right. You got me there.
He's walking around with shrapnel in his ass like, I did something! I fought for what's good!
What have your parents done?
Lost. No, never mind. No, I got it. Never mind.
They created the golden ticket, man.
Wait. Oh,
You're looking
gotcha.
at it.
The red ticket.
The red ticket.
Anyway, I did want to ask you guys a question about, because now that 2023 is over and you did that that podcast with Pierce, I don't know if it was you two or one of you guys, or if it was Zach that said it, but one of you guys said that your year, it wasn't your worst year for the band, but it felt like you guys weren't going anywhere.
It was the most work with it felt like the least progress. Because in previous years, we had done less, but jumped up more levels. Those were the easier levels.
Yeah.
Like we said, it was big when we got into Launchpad, and then it was big when we got into Marble, and then into Meow Wolf, and then into Sister and all that stuff. But last year was just a lot of the same stuff that we had already done. But we did get to play, and getting into State Fair was felt like a big deal. But last year we got Summerfest, we got Bands of Enchantment, and got a ton more reps and a lot more fans.
I was gonna say, because how do each of you define progress, and then where do you hold value in your progress?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I feel like venues has a big thing to do with it. Playing the bigger venue to the bigger crowd feels like a step up. It's when we did New Mexico State, when we had our biggest show. That felt like a huge step up, because we were just playing for
y'all did well too.
Yeah, we were playing for 150 people at Marble, and
because not only that, but at the State Fair, I mean, you gotta think about who's going to the State Fair, especially today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's people that don't really give a shit. It's high schoolers that want to go there and just show that they're to their other dumb little high school friends they have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
right. And that poor Zach Abeda, if you ever seen him do his joke live, he's got a really good bit about the fucking State Fair and those poor girls that get trapped. But so it's those people, and then it's the single dads that want to take your kid out for a good time.
Yeah,
it's the families that don't really give a fuck. They're only there for the kids
and the food.
Yeah. But even then, dude, I had gone with Danielle to see you guys, and dude, she paid $25 for fucking what are they called? Those fries.
The ribbon fries.
Ribbon fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, $25.
Oh yeah.
And then I bought her and I a beer.
Thanks, Biden.
And it was, nah, bro. I blame the Mexicans. I gotta be honest. No. A bit of it was Biden, but most of that is Mexican. Because there's Jew greed and then there's Mexican greed, and Mexican greed is real in this state, dude. I don't give a fuck. I paid $18 for 2 Mass Ascensions. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's.
I literally paid for one beer 50 cents less than what a 4-pack costs.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean?
When was the last time you went to a show at Isleta Amphitheater?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Last time I went was for Avenged, and because me and Joey had gone. Yeah, it's fucking $13 for a beer.
Yeah, some of them are $20
yeah.
for their mixed cocktails, or whatever. It's $23 or something.
That's why We fucking pregame in the parking lot.
Oh yeah.
Catch enough of a buzz that's gonna ride you out, and honestly, bro, it's trashy as fuck. But I go get the kilt lifter, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
The gay drink?
Yeah, it's the gayest beer out there, but because it's trashy as shit. It's like the white. No, it's not gay. It's the exact opposite. It's like white trash as shit, but it'll get you fucked up a little bit, and for whatever they put in there, it helps you maintain a buzz.
It's a beer.
Well, it's a beer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beer. It's like one of the bigger like pint size or like pint and a quarter or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. It's like $7.50, and dude, for whatever reason, that's cheaper than the Budweiser they have.
Yeah.
And I drink Budweiser. You guys have known me long enough. I drink Budweiser wherever I go because it's the cheapest, and I love it. But it tends to be the cheapest.
Yeah.
You love horses and puppies.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
He's referencing the Super Bowl commercial.
Oh,
Oh, come on. Those are the best Super Bowl commercials.
dude, I don't watch the Super Bowl anymore.
No.
I gotta be honest.
Well, that's when they were good.
The moment that that last Super Bowl, like years ago, that they promised me SpongeBob and I got no SpongeBob, I
True.
stopped watching the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. No. And because anything good from the Super Bowl, commercial wise or like movie trailer wise, is gonna be on the internet anyway. So fuck them. I don't give a shit. Anyway, my point is the people that are going to the state fair, right? The last thing they want is to stand in one place and
live
watch music.
Yeah.
They want to get through, they want to do that mental checklist so they say they did it and they get the fuck out of there. But what you guys were doing that was awesome to see was, because you guys are fucking talented, you had people turning their heads, stopping and watching for a bit, whether it was for the whole show, was from like, it was for a few minutes or maybe like 20 minutes. Like, you guys were able to grab attention.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that was a step up. And then, yeah, the Bands of Enchantment thing, hopefully, I mean, that, I think.
Is that what you were saying comes out on the 3rd?
March 2nd, yeah,
March
on New Mexico PBS. That's when our episode premieres.
Yeah, because y'all are like episode 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to be on Amazon Prime.
In the summer.
2-day shipping.
2-day shipping on our Bands of Enchantment episode.
That was such a cool thing to watch.
Yeah, that was
Like, how did that, I wanted to get to that a little bit later, but like, how did that feel doing Bands of Enchantment?
that one definitely felt like a step up. It felt like
shooting like a TV show.
Yeah,
You know,
it
it
felt legit.
Like super high quality cameras. That was the first time we were all like tuned into earpieces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you all have in-ears?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Nice. How did it feel having in-ears?
I like it personally.
Because I'd imagine that at least that's not your first time using it, but I would imagine like it's a little jarring.
A little bit. Well, when I use them, I just have myself in them. Whereas like when we were doing it for Bands of Enchantment, all of us had everybody in them.
And so how akin is that to, so let's say you go to the studio, right? And I know you both had to do a couple of vocal reruns with I Like It, right? So you're going and doing your vocals and you already have like the band track going. So you're singing along to the band track and you know what marks to hit, you know how to write, you know that.
In the studio?
Yeah, in the studio.
Yeah.
So how akin to that was Bands of Enchantment where you can hear the whole band in your earpiece?
It's nothing like that, really.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just very messy.
Really?
Like
Yeah, it's a lot of fucking
yeah,
noise.
you kind of have to choose what you want in it. So like, you usually don't hear a whole lot of the bass, like it's just because it gets drowned out by the drums so much. And then
Especially with your fucking drummer.
Yeah.
and then usually the guitars, you kind of have to pick one or the other. At least we did for bands, because we were even then we were going way too loud for their sound engineers. They
Yeah.
were like, you guys can't play that loud.
We'll just
like,
can't play
"Fuck."
that loud out of the amps because they didn't want sound from the amps
Right.
hitting the people in the audience. They just wanted the sound recording or coming from the microphone in front of the amps coming out of the main speakers. So that meant that they had to turn down a lot compared to what they usually do.
What was the logic behind they didn't want it hitting the audience?
So I mean, they have.
Continue. I'm just gonna check the cameras.
So what they do, even at like regular venues, like at Launchpad and stuff, you put a microphone in front of the guitar amp, you mic up the drums, and then all of that gets sent into the main speakers, and that's where the actual mix is. So like when you're sound coming from your amp is hitting the crowd directly, then it's drowning out the sound coming from the actual mix. And that's where like the sound discrepancies come from.
Interesting.
So that's why like in the front row a lot of our shows, like you can't really hear the vocals. There's a lot. It's just like super noisy because our guys, the amps are so loud.
Yeah.
Right.
That's something we've literally fought with the whole time. Like ever since we've first started the band, we could never hear our vocals. And I think in-ears will change that because we're supposed to try to get some this year, maybe for the full band. But again, like there's only so many venues that we could really use them at.
Oh, you guys were saying that in Pierce's episode, how like y'all walked up behind the last band and you picked up the earpieces.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Oh, what the fuck is going on?
It was pretty gross.
Yeah, they looked not to be rude because I spoke to a couple of them after the shooting and they seemed very nice. Right. They were a very earthy band.
They're very Seattle.
It smelled like earth.
Very earthy. So anyway, but bring it back to my original question. How are you guys gauging your progress and what kind of progress do you put value in?
The way I see it is like I just look back on where we really first started and then like to see where we are now. Like the last song that we just put out compared to the very first song we put out. It's still not as good as it could be, but I can absolutely see the progress that we've made with, just in everything. Writing, the overall, sound of engineering when we're actually putting out the master version.
Yeah.
Because even then, like way back in the day, our master versions sounded like it was on, like a 3-year-old fucking made it. So,
That's fair.
but that's not anyone's fault except for us. Kenny did as much as he could with a bad product. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I see what you're saying with that. I will say, I think the only criticism I have of you guys of late is I think you might have held like what was the rationale or the thought process behind releasing Everything's Fine after I Like It in the same year? Because I Like It it's your best song.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a question about that, right? Mm-mm. Is that kind of the consensus right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's you, it was like the in talks with the band or it's just crowd and audience reception, that is your best song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why not end the year on that?
We just had it.
Okay.
And we've had the mentality of like, there's no point in waiting. Like nobody's really paying attention right now.
I disagree.
Not
out in Albuquerque, sure they are. Maybe not like global.
Yeah, but that's like just basically the more stuff you put out, the more likely something's gonna connect.
Okay.
So
yeah, and
like
then plus, go ahead.
There's no use like holding on to stuff because it just like doesn't really matter. It's might as well just get it out there.
Yeah,
Right.
and the longer that we held on to it, like the less they were starting to not like it.
Yeah.
So I feel like the longer we would have held on to it, we may have never even put it out.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So
because
then,
like the more,
well, with that logic, then why put it out?
because
If the more you're simmering on it, the less you like it.
I think that comes a lot just from like listening to it over and over and like so many times
Okay.
because
Fair enough.
we go back and forth with Kenny. We get the first mix and we're like, okay, we need to listen to the whole thing, and then all right, we need the guitars turned up. We need to redo this vocal part. We need to do something with the drums right here, and we do that like 4 or 5 times for every song. So just listening to it over and over and over just kind of makes you sick of it.
That's fair. Okay.
so
Are you
if-
guys using any like people? Cause I asked this, I think of Toby and Nick the last time they came through. Are you guys, when you have like your first draft come back from the studio, right? Are you guys showing that to anybody outside of the band? Where you're like, hey, what do you think? Like, do you have like a trusted group of people in your own circles where it's like, I trust your opinion. You're gonna give me pushback. You're gonna tell me if it's good or not.
Not really anymore. I feel like when we were first having like recordings, then we would send it out early. Nowadays I have like a small group of people that I'll send like the mastered version out just so they can like hear it early because like they're like ride or die homies.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll show some like some of the local musicians stuff before we actually put it out.
Yeah, like if we're hanging out with the Mangoes, we'll be like,
But we're not really like looking for approval. We're just kind of being like, yo, this is what we got. You know, this is the new one coming out.
Good.
So, and that also, I don't think musicians are really the best ones to ask if you're like, if you guys are at the like same level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Also,
Okay.
it's
Why-
No, I'm not talking shit out because I mean Albuquerque's music scene is amazing, but it's just like who's the big name in Albuquerque where it's gotten past that point to where we could really look up to and talk to them.
Right. No,
very
you always want to, because it's good to have your colleagues and it's good to have the people at the same level so you guys can kind of, it's a friendly competition, you know, but at the end of the day, it is a competition. And you might want to, you're checking each other and you're just like, okay, well, they're doing this, we're doing this, let's collaborate a little bit, do here and there. Like, you guys are very good at that with the mangoes. Like, that's not a question. But I see the logic where it's like, well, if we're looking to level up, why are we getting not even approval, but why are we asking the opinion of people at our same level? Because then you're just kind of running around in a circle.
But also, it's at that point too, like we're not making music for musicians. Like, we're making music for the people, and the people are not musicians.
True, there's a difference there, yeah, because
huge.
There's some songs where musicians will be like, "This is like the best musically made song ever."
Yeah,
and then you'll listen to like a simple 3-chord song it's a platinum fucking record.
But it was Green Day's all of Green Day's early years.
Yeah,
I mean, not anybody, but most people. Me in middle school could play like most of Dookie, most of American Idiot,
right? Because
it's so simple, but it works.
Yeah,
exactly.
All the complicated stuff is on like Warning and Nimrod and Insomniac, whatever that album is. I forget what it's called, but such a great, very dark album, but great album. But it's complicated.
Yeah,
and I mean, they're both great, but it's just musicians will appreciate what's done in a song more than your average listener.
Yeah, and there's also a lot less musicians than there are just your average listener.
Yeah, well, you'll find that in any field, though.
Yeah, so
naturally.
Yeah.
So, well, and the reason I asked you the original question about you guys' progress, where it's like you guys did the most work for the least amount of output, this is the outside looking in, watching everything you guys did last year, I'm not convinced that, I mean, you guys, again, like we've already said, State Fair, Bands of Enchantment, playing Launchpad multiple times, Summerfest, Marble multiple times, Sister twice or once? Twice, right? Okay. So, to me, maybe it's hard to feel this in the moment, but looking back, to me, output wasn't really the goal of last year. The best thing that came out of your year last year was cementing yourselves.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, we are what's happening. We're not going away.
Yeah.
And here's why. And you have a music catalog to back it up. You have a stage presence to back it up. You have talent to back it up. And you have dedicated fans to back it up. I mean, you have fuckers driving from like Gallup or some shit.
Yeah.
Very nice people. Amazing people. But you have people like driving hours to come see your 30, 40-minute set. Maybe an hour set if the crowd's lucky. Yeah. Right? So I think a lot of 2023 was you guys like cementing yourselves.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Now, 5 years from now, 4 years from now even, if you're having the same type of year as 2023, maybe then it's time to look at things and be like, all right, what are we doing? Are we just sticking around as like a local band that these venues can really rely on to book out their place because we're like the Albuquerque crew? And maybe is this like, what's going wrong? Why aren't we breaking through that barrier?
Yeah, exactly. And I think this year is more focused on breaking through that barrier because, I mean, last year was definitely the best year we've ever had, and we like won Best of the City, which was huge. So
oh, that's right. Okay, so you guys had Best of the City, and then Nick had Best Instrumentalist.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I ended up top 5 vocalist.
Yep.
But so yeah, I mean that was huge. I think that'll be easy, like make it easier to book stuff elsewhere because we're like we can show we were the top band.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think
for the whole city.
I think like we say that songwriting was our our main goal for last year because like we really weren't even trying to like, not to sound cocky or anything like that, but we weren't trying to book stuff. Like we just kind of would go to stuff and then talk to some people and then get offered, a spot like Bands of Enchantment. We just went to the red lights, like red carpet thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Met the people and then like showed them our stuff and then got on the show.
That's networking.
Yeah. But I mean, our main priority of last year was more on the songwriting. We weren't pushing a whole lot for shows.
It shows. It really does. Your songwriting is improved instrumentally, vocal wise, like everything you guys are doing. It makes sense.
Yeah. And I think last year too was like the reason we put out Everything's Fun at the end of the year is just like that was in 2022 we put out 7 songs and then last year we put out 8 songs.
Okay.
So it's just like a
That's
little,
fair.
like
That's
just
fair.
a little bit of
Okay.
a level up.
There
like,
it is. Okay,
nice
yeah,
even
that's
number.
fair. Yeah, because I mean, I prefer. It's Everything's Fine is a good song. Like, it's not bad. I don't want to give that impression at all. Like, I like it, but I like it's fucking.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah, very different vibes,
Dude,
for
that's
sure.
still in my rotation. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Spotify gives you the on repeat,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. That's still up there, dude. That song
Yeah.
fucking hits.
And I think that's definitely like probably the top one that we would send to out of state
yeah.
bands and booking agents and stuff like that. Just be like,
Yeah.
we have the song.
Sadly, that song might not be on the Bands of Enchantment episode.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out because we only get half. Because we had the first band and then our band, so we're only getting half of the 30-minute episode.
Eat a dick.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, we're trying to, and we did 4 songs. I guess they
Not
only had
Bands of
time-
Enchantment. We love you guys.
Yeah, but we had time. I guess we had time to fit on the episode for 3 songs. So we're trying to. We're gonna have to drop another one and have I
Don't
Like
drop
It in
it.
its place.
Do not drop I Like It.
Yeah.
Don't.
So
Because what did you guys play that night? I know you did 20 something. I Like It.
Hopeless,
Hopeless
Goodbye
and
Forever.
Goodbye Forever.
Yeah, and it was only 3 songs meant to cut, I guess. But yeah, they just kind of like edit it, and I don't know. I think they kind of released it themselves.
Yeah. So we'll see. Well, I think Toby's talking to him hopefully to get I Like It on there instead.
Out of those 4 songs, what would you guys drop?
Probably Hopeless,
What was the other ones?
20 something and Goodbye
Yeah,
Forever.
and probably Hopeless.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all good songs, but I mean, we're trying to represent, ourselves as what we, as our best products.
The only reason I would say drop Hopeless is because Goodbye Forever has more crowd engagement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. and
Like
20
for a live setting, I agree with that.
Yeah. Also, I Like It was the most like enthusiastic and got the crowd, most into it.
Banger, dude.
Yeah, and 20 something I think was like a staple song for us last year.
Yeah, it
like we
was,
did it
for
on the
sure.
news and
Yeah.
yeah. So that was I
Yeah.
think 20
But yeah.
coming out of like starting the year last year with 20 something and Goodbye Forever was like a huge like great start for us.
Yeah. I would say Bands of Enchantment is our biggest thing to date. It's like the biggest thing we've done.
Based on the broadcasting reach and the
Yeah.
platforms you'll be on,
Right.
and what
just
you'll
like
be able to say with that is like, yeah, we are on a televised, like a syndicated show
Yeah.
that's been broadcasted on Amazon
And
Prime
it won an Emmy.
and
like,
all that stuff. Yeah, no,
And I mean, you're right. Like when you look back, like if it was just written down on a list of what we did this last year, our year looks really good. Like
Yeah.
on Bands of Enchantment, won Best Band in the City.
because you're cementing yourself as staples of the city.
yeah.
Conquer what you're doing and then
Right.
move on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think again, I don't know everything with the music scene here, right? But I think you guys are maybe 2 years away from conquering all that Albuquerque has to offer. Unless something crazy happens this year and you're able to get Sunshine on like a feature act.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like we're still gonna this year we're gonna play a lot less shows because we played 23 shows last year. That was like
That's a lot.
That's like every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks
That's
we
a
were
lot.
playing.
Yeah.
It was insane. And that really took a toll on us because like we didn't feel that progress live. We actually felt sort of like backwards. Like we were playing so many shows that our crowds were, I feel like, smaller.
Yeah, they
It's
were
like-
just spattered between weekends.
Yeah,
You know what I
'cause
mean?
it was like, oh, I just saw them 2 weeks ago, so why would I
Right.
go see
The
them?
exclusivity is now gone.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So now we're gonna be more like selective with our shows.
Are there conversations that happen inside the band where it's like, hey, not only okay, so maybe like in the moment, let's say during 2023, it's like, okay, we're playing this many shows, we have this many shows coming up already booked. How are we going to navigate this? Should we book beyond this? And then now that you're going into 2024, is there a conversation happening right now where it's like a roadmap, where it's like, hey, these are the milestones we would like to hit and are realistic for 2024. Now, how do we get there? Are those conversations happening?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. I mean, we've said it last year, too, was our main goal was to get out of state, which we did, but it was only for one show.
You're
So-
still out of state.
Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, because, again, if you want to compare, just because this is like the realm that I'm dipping my toes into, I mean, going out of state for music is so much harder than going out of state for comedy. In my opinion, just because I've never gone out of state for fucking comedy, obviously. But seeing, people that I've become friends with and that I look up to that have gone out of state for that, it's the barrier to entry, like you have to bring a resume and you have to know people. You have to know people with your music, obviously, too. But it's just one guy going out there.
Yeah.
You're carpooling out there. Or you're like, hey, yeah, I'll meet you up. Thank you for the 5-minute set. Thank you for the 15-minute set, whatever.
They already have a microphone, and that's all you need.
That's all you need, right? But then with you guys, it's like, no, we're a 6-man band of dudes with all their equipment and all their amps and all their stuff. Like, that's not a fucking, hop on the train and go type of thing.
Yeah, and then everyone has to take off of work.
Yeah.
So
going out of state just for one show. I mean, you guys as a collective made it out of state.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's something to brag about, dude.
Yeah. It was it was a solid show. Like for our first one ever, that was like
you were with something Desert Fish?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get them in Albuquerque again this year if they come. They usually come through for like a little tour.
Okay.
So we'll try to get on with them.
So these conversations that you guys are having, like the planning, the projecting out for the next year, you have to spill all the beans. But because you guys are my friends, and I'd like to see you guys progress and grow. Like, what are these conversations looking like? Are they just in a group chat? Are they in person? Like, are these real like strategic? Because you have like you guys, again, like it can be shown in like a negative light. Where 20-year-old guy is very competitive, very masculine, testosterone driven. It's easy to butt heads, and that happens. Like that's just part of being a guy.
Oh yeah.
But on the other hand, you guys are such a great mix of personalities, to where you guys like it's like you're one, in my opinion, outside looking in, you guys have like one big toolbox, and it's like, okay, Toby can go do this. Johnny can go do this. Leroy does this. Nevin does this. And it's like all you guys have your separate little areas where you can help elevate the band.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So are you guys planning things out like that? Like how are you looking at your future right now?
So I feel like we've slacked a lot the last basically 3 to 4 years, because Toby has really been the one doing a lot of the work. And so we had this conversation like a month or two ago about how we're just not where we think we should be, mainly in songwriting. We're doing all right. We're doing good on stage and all that, but we're just not completely happy with the level of where our songwriting's at and
lyrically
and just the
or
product.
instrumentally?
Just a little bit of both.
The whole song,
Okay.
like just the quality of a full song.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about this year about putting out less music, spending more time on each song, and making it each one a hit song. Yeah, I mean that's what we've always tried to do. But when you're trying to put one out a month, it's takes away from it a little
talking
bit.
to you guys both personally and on the podcast, there was a huge emphasis on putting out music last year.
Yeah, that was the goal. Is just
that was like the all fucking time was getting your RPMs up for making music.
Yeah, and that's what all of last year was like. More shows than we've ever done by a long shot. More songs than we've ever put out, and that was like, by the end of the year, we're fucking like, even in like at the end of the summer, we were fucking burnt. Like, and this year, like last year was a lot on the the quantity, and like getting the reps and stuff. This year is going to be a lot more focused on the quality. So
yeah, and that all comes from Zach, he got his own like home setup. We're gonna get our own home setup so that we can start making like
regarding what though?
So like because like right now, yeah. So like
right, but in what capacity of because you can just record vocals. You could technically record vocals in here. If you want
exactly.
Just for demo purposes.
Yeah, just for demo purposes. Just because like I'm saying, like nothing really gets done outside of practice with us right now. So there's not a whole lot of us working extra unless we're like, all right, it's time to practice right now.
How long did it take for that realization to hit?
That was a conversation we had a month ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So was it, hey, lyric-wise, it's not happening outside of practice. Drum fill, bass lines. I'm also just using jargon that I know from music in general. So, but just these like in the military, they're called like implied tasks, like things you should be doing, right? It's not happening outside of practice, it's only happening here. It needs to be happening outside of practice so that when we show up, we're like game ready to go.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And so like the songwriting last year, it was a lot of like either like Toby had a demo or Zach would come to practice with an idea or Johnny would come with a riff to practice. And then we would like write the song right then and there at at practice, like together.
And with 6 people
And
all having their opinions and be like, no, I don't really like the way that sounds. No, he does like the way that sounds. And you have split decision kind of things. And then it's just, you end up spending 3 hours on a verse that doesn't work out.
Yeah, and then you
know?
don't even end up using it. So you just wasted a whole, meeting up all 6 of us is really difficult.
Yeah.
So we just wasted a whole band meeting.
Precious time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
precious
sometimes
time.
it does work. Like, I like it. Technically, that didn't just happen like at practice, but Toby had like the riff. So he came with the riff. Nick laid down like a really nice drum track, and then kind of everything just kind of came together at practice that day.
Well, I mean, if the music you guys have put out is a product of that type of practice, I mean, imagine what you guys can do when you're using your spare time, when you're using your outside of 9 to 5 time to really hone in on your specific part of the group, and you bring it all together. I mean, fuck, dude.
Right. Yeah.
I know, and you guys have told me this. I'm in the minority. I really like Just Talk.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song.
I love that song, too.
I fucking love that song. But it's like even music dating back to that was 2022, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so dating back to even back then, I'm like, still one of my favorite songs that you guys have made is Nothing at All and Save Me. Mm-hmm. So if you guys have it, like that's partially why I care so much. Is you guys have the ability to make fucking phenomenal music.
Yeah, it's
So
really just about the time and being
Okay.
like spending it wisely and like being focused. It's more just about focus than anything. Like,
Is it like not to get too personal, but is it like lifestyle changes you may have to make? Is it time allocation changes you may have to make? Or it's like, hey, I might spend an hour and a half, even like 30 or 45 minutes doing this sometimes, or whatever it is. I have to now cut this out so that I can focus on this project because I'm nurturing this giant, this like tree pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Is it stuff like that?
Yeah, I
honestly,
feel like this
probably,
year,
more than likely.
yeah, I feel like this year we're really looking at this thing as like an investment. So it's like,
Good.
if you aren't like spending your time that you aren't with the band or whatever, like trying to invest in it, then we're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I'm saying. Like Toby was the only one doing that this last year. Zach did it a good amount of times, but the difference between those demos that we would get between them is that Toby has he has different software. I don't know if he has different software, but he might just know how to use it a little bit better. And so he would send a full demo
with like a drum track that
He came up with and shit.
No,
No.
he would find like drum tracks on YouTube and just use that as like a
Like
place filler.
stock. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he would record guitars and sometimes bass over
Yeah.
that drum track.
And
Like as a place filler, so like we could get the idea of the song and we can go from there.
And then like with Zach, like he would do that, but he wouldn't do guitar, or sometimes he would just send a bass line. And so like it was a good bass line, but it's hard to hear that when it's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom.
like bass out of context, like musical context.
Yeah, so we
is
need
like,
the guitar, we need
it
the
just
vibe
sounds
of
like
the song.
rattling.
Not everybody is the dude from fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers, so I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Flea, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
everybody's that, so I get that.
Yeah, but Zach and Toby were the only ones really putting in that extra effort this last year. And so that's basically where we're coming at this year for everyone to start their own ideas at home, bring them to practice, and then we can match that vibe kind of on our own time. Because sometimes when you bring a guitar lick or a bass line or something like that to practice, you don't know what kind of song you're going for.
Yeah. And also you just have to hope that the other guys hear it and they feel it in the moment and they can start playing it like right then and there as soon as they hear it, which Nick is really good at. Like Toby will come with a guitar, like a riff or a chord progression or something, and Nick is really good at just like playing on the spot, and you're just like, that's what the song should sound like.
Not to be like a reductionalist or, dumb things down, but is there not like times in like I imagine you have a group chat somewhere.
Yeah.
Is there not times where it's like Toby or any of the instrumentalists come up with a riff or a fill or whatever the fuck, and like, hey, what do you guys think of this? And they just send it to you guys and you judge then and there, or do you guys always wait till practice?
Sometimes Toby
Okay.
will send like the demos in the chat.
But it's hard because it's like you don't know if they're at work, or it's like usually you're putting your phone up to the ear and you're like not really hearing as how good it really is going to sound.
Right.
Again,
That's
not really knowing the vibe of it.
Yeah. But now, I mean, now that Zach like has his software, now Toby doesn't have to write a bass line, like a filler bass line. He can send it to Zach and be like, I have this. It's got the drum track and the guitars. Now write the bass line. Because a lot of times we were asking, Toby would come in with the demo or the guitar, Nick would hop on the drums, and we'd be asking Zach to write on the spot.
On the spot, yeah.
Yeah. And he
without knowing the vibe of the song, really what we're going for.
Yeah. And he did a great job last year. Like all of our songs like came out solid as far as the bass goes. But
he's a very talented bass player.
Yeah. Now he has the opportunity to actually sit down with it for like a couple of days and think about it and write and like actually lay it down. And this way he doesn't have to like just be bombarded with right now.
Right.
Yeah. And me and Toby actually had like a sit down just like with us too. Just kind of like talking about like what we want for this next like year and like what it's going to take. And I just feel like I'm not doing what I need to be doing. So this year I'm really going to try to step up. And like I said, we're getting our own like home recording equipment. So I'm going to try to be the one to at least, send some demos and give ideas to the songs. Because, I mean, like, I've written a good amount of songs. Like Sundress I wrote, Nothing at All. I wrote that instrumental and stuff like that. So, I mean, I know I can do it. This last 2 years, I just haven't, like, I don't know. I just haven't spent the time to do that. And I feel like what I would say is my excuse is that, we already have 2 guitar players. It's like, I don't know if I need to be doing that because we already have 2 of them. Like, that's kind of their job. But, I mean, I know how to make music. So, and if I have, an idea in my head and I can put that out onto the software and then send that to them, and get another song started instead of it just being Toby or Zach or Johnny, we could get another hit song there.
Well, self-awareness is important, first of all. And I'm glad to see that the collective group has that. I'm not surprised, but I'm glad that you guys have that, right? So, because you're right. From an outsider looking in, I would imagine that, like, yeah, why is the vocalist not necessarily giving input, because input is always good, but why would a vocalist be writing guitar riffs? Why would a vocalist be writing these different things? But if you have the ability to give valuable input, right? Valuable starting points to what the lead guitarist, the rhythm guitarist, because I know Johnny and Toby switch off with the lead or the rhythm guitarist can do on a song or stuff like that. Yeah, it's better to have that input than to not have it, because if you don't have it, you're at 0 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you do give input, all right, +5.
Yeah.
Fuck it, why not, right? So it's good you guys are having those type of conversations. And so that's what I was going to ask along with that. Like, do you feel like you were, upon self-reflection, like you were relying a little bit too much on your bandmates, and then you're like, oh, okay, here's where I can interject myself? And that's not, and I don't ask that question based on quality, because the quality of your songwriting and your verses are fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, you do your job well. Like, I don't want that to get misconstrued. But from your point of view, do you feel like you were maybe relying on them too much? And you're like, oh, well, this is also just basically how my brain works sometimes too, where it's like, okay, I've been getting by on this level of interaction, and it's pretty decent. It's pretty good.
Right.
I'm just going to keep writing that until I can't anymore. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a little bit of that? Like, what was going through your head?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. Just like of just doing, just enough. But like I'm saying, like if I can, because I know I hear catchy riffs all the time, but I never really spend the time to record it, because I know that Johnny or Toby is going to come up with something different that I can write along to. You know what I mean? But if that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, if I can follow through with some of my ideas and make them the best that I can before I even send it to them, and really give them the vibe and the idea of what the song is going to be, then they can just, I'll get a little more, not cred or whatever, but, like I can be more of that guy now.
This boy's thinking about royalties, son.
I can get 10%.
I wrote more of this song, motherfucker.
No, yeah, it's just it's more of like feeling like I can do more. Yeah. I can do more.
That's that you need to have, especially with you guys being a part of a fucking. It's an ensemble. You know what I mean? It's a 6-piece ensemble music group.
Yeah.
You need to have the servant mindset. Should there be a leader? Should there be a guy and that says the final yes or no, maybe. I mean, I can't really say yes or no about that, right? But my brain says maybe there should be. Mm-hmm. But you won't fail if all of you guys are going with that servant mindset.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I can add to this. Here's why I can add this outside of raw talent, right? Outside of my ability to sing or play guitar or whatever you're doing in the group. I'm here to, no matter what, I'm going to service this band. Yeah. I'm going to put my best foot forward with it. I'm not going to half-ass it, and I'm not going to think of it as like a side thing or whatever, because I've heard it out of all of you guys' mouths at this point, both on and off this, where it's like, yeah, this is what we want to do to eventually replace our 9 to 5. We want this to be our main source of not only livelihood, but what makes us happy, right? So to get that, it's going to take a lot more of that, extracurricular, not extracurricular, but like the extraneous time that you may or may not have.
Yeah. And I think we really came to that realization just because we look back, what are we, 4 years in now? We've made a lot of progress, but we're just not like, I feel like I pictured us blowing up. Of course, every band does, right? But once we realize that, oh, that's not actually happening, we got to do something else.
I mean, I'll be real, man. I can relate to that. Like, I'm entering year 4 of the podcast, and there are times where I'm like, why the fuck did this episode not get X amount of views?
Oh yeah.
Why didn't this reel get this amount of views? Why, this, that, or the other? And the reason why I asked that original question about how do you guys value your progress is because when I look at my own progress, I'm like, okay, when I first started this, I had no intention of doing it full time. Mm-hmm. I had no intention of buying. Like, I remember my buddy Jay, who was my producer for a while when he lived in LA and then moved to Arizona for a bit. Still a good friend of mine. He's the one that helped me start the podcast, like from the administrative side and from like the tech side, right? And I remember when he pitched the idea to me of like, hey, if you're really gonna do this, you should buy one of these. And I saw the price tag on it because I just seen it from like Rogan and shit. Yeah, I was like, okay, these are expensive. Maybe I can get them like 3 years, 4 years down the road, but this is not a thing for now. But thankfully, I had people that helped me out, and then I had some of my own money, and I was able to get them. Like, okay, that's progress. And I try to base my progress on relativity of where I started, where I thought I could be, But yeah, there are definitely times now entering my 4th year where I'm like, I kind of wish my YouTube was at this. I kind of wish my Spotify was at this.
Yeah. Yeah, but the numbers make it really tough.
Yeah, well, I think that's
mentally, like I'm the one that like looks at all of our like numbers and like Spotify listeners and like streams and stuff like that, and to like fully believe in a song, especially like I Like It, or like how we felt about like Hopeless, or like Watching You Fall, to like fully believe in that and be like, this song is next level. This song is gonna get some traction because it's really fucking good, and then to see it like kind of flop like right out of the gate.
Well, but then define flop. Is it flop relative to where you think it should be, or is it flop compared to your highest song at the time?
I think just like now that we have enough songs, I see the trajectory of one song versus like the trajectory of another.
Okay.
And there are songs like 20 something and Goodbye Forever, even Sundress, which was like one of the first songs we ever wrote. That's still our most streamed song ever. But
I mean, I know that there's a lot of back and forth about that song, the original version of it.
Yeah.
That is your most streamed. It's a good song.
It is.
I understand 100% why you don't play it live.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
It's a four chord progression song.
Yeah, but it makes all the sense in the world why you don't play it live.
Yeah.
Like, that's a song you play live when you're doing a huge show where you have an hour and a half to play with and you kind of want to mellow things out before you go right back up.
Yeah.
But when you've got 30 minutes to play with, and each song is like 2.5 to 3 minutes, and you're transitioning and you're changing tunings, like every second is precious. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
But so Sundress being at the top of the list, it doesn't surprise me. I'll be honest. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's frustrating to see even the trajectory of that song or the trajectory of like 20 something, which is like top 3 best songs we have, and then to put out I Like It, and then to not see the same
Which
trajectory.
is obviously our best song.
So
you know?
let's think about it critically then. How much advertisement, how much promotion, how much, I don't know how to really define it or to come up with the terms like social media-ness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything that can encompass putting that song out there. Realistically speaking, how much did you do that for I Like It?
So we did like
the
a
same
Spotify ad.
Same that we did for 20-something.
Yeah, but we did the Spotify ad a little late, which may have had something to do with it. But still, I mean, we saw progress from that Spotify ad. You know, we had like double the amount of listeners on our Spotify.
So I'm going to dig in deep because this is just how my brain works with my own content that I make, right? And I know where I can do better, right? Where I need to do better. How much build-up did you do it for that song? Not just in person, because you guys were playing that song for a little bit before you released it.
Yeah, probably.
And
like
the crowd reaction was, what the fuck? Like, I consider myself privileged. I heard that song in practice for the first time, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like, when Nick hit that first drum fill, he gave me this look, and I was like, I don't know if you're going to give me a hug or fuck me right now, bro. Like, what the
Hopefully
fuck was
both.
that? But my point is like, okay, how much build-up did you do for it? How much did you surround the premiere of the song? And then how much care are you giving to it afterwards?
I would have liked us to have done a lot more with it, you know, a lot more promo. But everything, again, because last year we were doing, you know, 1 month, a song a month. You know, we're kind of like trying to rush it out. So we should have done more.
Does your audience know? Can you confidently say that your audience knows that every month there will be a new Slum song?
No, not really. I mean, it's not something we like put out there.
And why is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, we weren't really trying to say, oh, here, we're putting out a song a month. It was more of just like, we're trying to get as good as we can, and we're trying to get all the bad songs out of the way kind of thing. You know, because
That's fair.
the more bad songs you make,
yeah, well,
the more really good songs you will make.
That's the advice that I got in the very short time. Thanks to I can talk about this now. Thanks to the United States Army cutting the education budget, the very short time that I spent in film school, one of the best pieces of advice that I got from one of my film teachers was, if you're really serious about film or whatever creative endeavor you're doing, just do it. Even if you think it's shitty, just produce it and make it, because he
See
goes,
it all the way through.
It's going to take 10,000 hours to get like the perfect shit done or whatever it is. So get your 10,000 hours of shitty stuff out of the way so that you can gain the skills and the knowledge and just build that toolbox so that you can start making greatness.
Yeah.
Right? So that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
The more like average songs or not good songs you put out, the closer you are to the great song.
Right.
Like the more the more reps you have, the better you get.
So why do you think there isn't a general knowledge in your audience base? And I say this just because one of the first things that was pretty much from every angle of advice that I got from starting this podcast, I'll say in the first year, was you need a release schedule. You need something people can count on, whether it's 5 people or 500 people or 50,000 people. You need a release schedule people can count on. Right? Because if they care about your product, they're going to expect the next whatever, right? So why, in your opinions, why isn't there an awareness, generally speaking, in your audience that every month I can count on a song from these guys?
I feel like it's a little different with music, because it's just like, I mean, podcasts, you can put out a song.
No, for sure.
Or put out an episode.
No, I'm saying
every week or every
not
2
even
weeks.
not even a month, but just saying release schedule in general.
They're saying we're dropping an album in October kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Or like generally speaking, hey, I might be able to find new stuff by them at this time. Period,
Right.
Yeah.
A general release schedule.
Yeah, and we do that. We'll start promoting a song up to like a month before we release, but at the end of the day, like it's still the same. It's still a lot of the same thing. It's like nobody's really paying attention. Like they might be fans of us. They might like to come to our shows. They might like to listen to our music, but they're not really paying attention. There's so much other shit going on.
Right.
Then they're seeing so much shit every day.
Yeah.
And they're not like that invested yet. Like that they're not going to see like.
I think you're close though.
Yes, we are. But they're not going to be like, oh, Slums has a song on this date, and that date is 14 days away. Like, I'm ready for it. I can't wait till it comes out. It's more just like, oh, they just dropped a new song. Let me click on the link because it's fast and it's easy. Right. It's hard to build up hype when people aren't really like paying attention.
I see what you're saying though. Like if we would get more attraction if we did do that. If we took, in 2 months we're gonna be doing this release. We drop a little video, little hint of it, here and there.
That was one thing we talked about too. Is we need more promotion and just more like content. Like we need more video content for sure. Like we did 3 like promo videos of like we did a video of us at Summerfest. We did a video of us, 2 videos of us one of us at Sister and one of us at Marble.
Yeah.
And those are really cool. Just kind of like quick little minute-long recaps.
Well, it's funny because I look at this is the comparison that comes to mind. 'Cause I know they haven't put out a lot recently, but Cy Montero.
Yeah.
Their bread and butter, it looks like right now, are their live video performances, and their like, even their music videos that they do that are based on a live performance, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's where a lot of their views come from on YouTube anyway. Have you guys ever thought about doing that? I know it's a lot of money. It's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, I mean we
do want to do a live show, and actually I think T Baby, he gifted us a video, so we're gonna do that with him here pretty soon. Probably like at a sister show.
Cool.
But yeah, we'll definitely do something. It might basically just kind of what Cy Montero did, just live recording of a set, and then put it out there on YouTube. Whether it's a set or a song, probably just a song.
I think personally, I mean, not to, but I think you record a set, and maybe if out of like a 5-song set, you pick your best 2.
True.
Yeah. Or your best 3, and you release it periodically. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I love watching live band like videos.
Yeah, same.
And especially when they sound like basically just like the recording, but then you see like the actual hype of the audience,
reaction of it,
and it's like even a little different than the actual recording. Mm-hmm. With vocals or solos or something like that.
One of my favorite live performances that's been recorded is Disturbed at Red Rocks. Mm-hmm. Dude, Down with the Sickness is
Down with the Sickness.
It's ridiculous. Because you're talking about the changes. Even the guy who's on the drums, he changes. He's a couple more drum fills and there's more shit that's different. Live, I was like, oh shit, he was feeling it.
Yeah. Well, there's a handful of like Mac Miller live performances like dating back to like the mid 2010s, and then he has a full like Coachella set that he did, and just to like all the songs, and then to see him perform it live with a live band and just like see the difference, like you could see the vision of the album as it's played out live. It's just like it's so much more exciting like as an actual fan. And Anderson .Paak does the same thing, like hearing his music, you're like, this is a great fucking song, and then seeing him play it live, drumming and rapping and singing, doing all of it at the highest level, and then seeing the band around him doing what they do at the highest level, it just makes it so much more exciting. If you're an actual fan.
And I think subconsciously that's how you build the relationship with your audience, right? It's like, man, I couldn't make it to that Slums show, but fuck, they're good. Look at what they're doing. They're fucking great. Because your music videos are dope. Don't get me wrong, right? The music videos are sick, but like the raw live, like seeing you guys do your thing in front of an audience that's reciprocating that type of energy to you, I mean, you can't really beat it.
Yeah, I think that's one thing Bands of Enchantment will help with, because it was a live performance. It
was fucking sick. Deal. Like I was very, again, I don't bullshit. I was very privileged, and I knew one of the production assistants that was doing Band of Enchantment. So me and my chick, we got literally side view seats to that whole show, and it was fucking sick.
You could smell Nick. You're in the splash zone.
I could smell that. I could smell that fucking band before you, bro.
Oh,
but anyway, no, it was a great, it was a great view of the set, and that whole production was awesome. So I agree. Being when that drops, take advantage of, if you can get a hold of the people.
Yeah, as much content as we can squeeze out of that.
We want the raw MP4 of that shit. Because blast that all over your social media. Because that's it's funny you bring that up in this context, because when I was thinking about that, when the preview started coming out for like the other bands. You guys were in a couple of it for like a few seconds.
Yeah.
But when I see the other stuff coming out, I'm like, that to a musician is like an up and coming comic going up at like the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
Or like an improv, where not only are they doing it at a real venue, but you've got the logo behind you. Even like Quesada's up in Santa Ana right now, right? Going up there to a real comedy club and you've got the logo behind you, you've got the real backdrop. That's professional. That's something you can send for Just for Laughs. That's something you can send to Don't Tell. Like, that's a real comedy set, provided you kill it. Right, provided you do well.
Yeah.
That's a real bit of footage you can use for marketing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad this opportunity for Bands of Enchantment came last year and not 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that's what
I feel that.
That's
It
what's
looked much
happening.
better.
That's what's happening a lot in comedy too. That's what a lot of the older comics that I listen to on their podcasts, they talk about it. They like there's so many people blowing up from TikTok just because they're getting like, 60-second clips of them doing stand-up and they're doing really well, and then you post it and it blows up, and now they're getting these opportunities because they have all these views and they are not ready. Like, they have not been through the shit. They haven't done their 10,000 hours.
Haven't bombed.
They have not bombed fucking 100 times. They're just getting these opportunities based off of their clips, and they're not fucking ready at all.
There's one guy that comes to mind, and he has a special out on Prime, and I need to go watch it. I've been meaning to. Is Trevor Wallace.
Oh, Trevor Wallace is the shit, dude.
He's
He's
hilarious.
so good.
And he was pretty good at Kill Tony. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Trevor Wallace?
He's the dude that did all the the Zoomies video.
Yeah,
Like,
okay, good.
Yeah.
That's,
And, like,
that's who I
he's
the
thought it
YouTube
was.
guy.
Stiff socks
Yes,
and all
okay.
that shit, right?
Yeah.
He released I heard it wasn't a full hour. I heard it was like 45 minutes, but it was a special
on Amazon.
on Prime.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Is it good?
It's pretty solid. I mean,
Okay.
like, and
It's good to hear.
I think he's a guy that gets a bad rap. Like,
Because of TikTok. I mean, he might get a bad.
Not-
Okay, I'll be honest. I think if anyone's giving that dude shit, like real shit, like really, that guy's a fucking hack. He's a whatever. Like, they don't really know. Just like me, they don't know a lot of what he's doing. Like, if you watch his Kill Tony episode, one of the open micers that goes up, he goes, "It's like this." Like, replays in my head like once every couple weeks. One of the open micers goes up and he goes, "Oh, you're the TikTok guy."
yeah,
And then he replies with, "Yeah, the TikTok guy that just recorded a hour-long special at like this, like it's a famous theater in Austin,
yeah,
right? At this famous theater, and sold out 4 shows, and the whole crowd just fucking just erupts."
yeah.
right?
He's. I think he was like. He's one of those guys that like. He has blown up a lot more because of TikTok, but he has all the shit, the years to back it up.
Yes.
Like, he's been doing it for like a decade.
Well, there's a dude like his name is Jeff Dye. I've been following him for like 2-3 years now.
yeah,
And his comedy started finally blowing up on Instagram. I'm sure on TikTok too, but mainly on Instagram is where I saw him. And then Rogan talked about him a bit, and he just did an episode, I guess, this week.
yeah,
So it's cool to see that type of shit happen.
yeah. Guys like Trevor Wallace, even like Matt Rife too. Like, people, he's not really my favorite, but people give him shit. They're like, "Oh, you're just."
I love him.
Yeah.
I love his fucking dude. His bit about red flags, and then his bit about he's a red flag bit about dudes being friendly to chicks just to fuck them.
Yeah.
And he's not your friend.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That is one of the best and raw like comedy bits about relationships I've ever seen.
Yeah, but that's what
So
that's
good.
what I'm saying is like he's a legitimate comic. He's been,
he's been
doing
doing
it for
it
over a decade.
Oh, yeah.
But people are only seeing him on TikTok, so they're like, "Oh, he's
the
just a TikTok
comic that
guy."
blew up. Well,
Yeah.
did you know that fucking Dane Cook mentored him?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Dane Cook was talking about it on Bert Kreischer's podcast. And fun fact about Dane Cook, he replies to his DMs. Very nice guy.
I remember I saw that.
Yeah, very nice guy.
Everyone go DM him right now.
Say Slums of Harvard or die.
But he was talking about it with Bert Kreischer, and he was like, "Yeah, I met Matt Rife. Like, I think he said like 5 years of his comedy, and like we built this relationship, this that, and the other, and all this kind of stuff." And it's just cool to see that kind of thing still happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, Matt Rife's a good example of a
And
guy
then,
that like he's put in his reps.
Yeah,
But
same with-
just because the TikTok thing, it's like people write him off. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
He gets a bad rap because he's good looking too, though.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
well, you know what I love? You know what I love is that he gets shit for that and whatever, right? But the only people who hate on Matt Rife for his looks are ugly people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's only ugly
Or just
people
jealous dudes.
that are ugly.
Yeah.
Name one attractive dude that you know that is jealous of other guys. You don't.
Dead air.
Sorry. Dude, okay, from like 5 different accounts, the fucking Sunny episode where they go to the water park and Frank slides down the shit raw. My back. He's got AIDS. Like that has been popping up like crazy. Like that one, and then the part where the episode where Frank and Dee are watching the video of the looting. And D is like, well, what if they have, or no, Frank is like, well, what if they have bread in those speakers? And D's like, what are they? What are you saying? What are you saying right now?
He's all, because they're looking at the videos, and he's all, all right, look at this video. There's a bunch of white people stealing stuff. What are they doing? Oh, well, they're surviving. All right, what about this video where these black people doing?
And they're all stealing.
Oh, they're
speakers.
looting. But how do you know that there's no bread in those speakers?
What are we saying right now? What are we saying right now? Or the episode where he's singing in like the underpass, where he's like, all the homeless people are.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, homie.
Yeah,
and he trails down that way. Oh God, I love that episode. It's a good show. Anyway. With Matt Rife. I don't know, dude. Like that's a dude that has put in his years in comedy. He's done his thing. He's finally taking off, and then. You know, what and this caught him a lot of shit, but I liked it where because I think his new special or the recent special on Netflix.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen it?
I watched it. I don't really remember much of it. I just remember I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, it takes like 15, 20 minutes to get into it.
Yeah.
It takes a minute. But once it takes off, and he cracks. And it's a full hour. It's really good, in my opinion. But he makes a joke in that special about domestic abuse or domestic violence. Like he had a waiter with a black eye, and he made fun of the chick having a black eye because like she couldn't cook at home. It was a good joke, and I'm butchering it, but it was a good joke. People shit on him for it and try to get him canceled.
Yeah.
So his response to that was, if you have an issue with my comedy, fill out this form here or something.
Yeah.
And you click the link and it's a special needs helmet.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Come on, bro. Like, that's fucking... Like, what's hilarious to me is, like, I got a bit blasted on New Year's Eve. And I was with my chick at her place, and she had passed out, like at 12:05, dead, right? So I'm still awake. So I started pulling up YouTube, and I watched I was fucking hammered. And I started watching old, like, Andrew Dice Clay and Sam Kinison and Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
And watching their old stand-up from, like, the 80s. And it's like, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is great. But you can't fucking do that shit now. People in the media would lose their minds. Like there's a great bit from Dice where he's talking about...
Dice Clay's an insane person. I just saw him on... he's on Chrissy Chaos on Chris DiStefano's podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a crazy person, and he's fucking entertaining.
But he's a legend.
Oh, yeah. He was
like
one of the original Stadium comics.
Oh, yeah. And he's got a bit about nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
And he talks about Little Miss Tuffet. He goes, Little Miss Tuffet Little Miss whatever sat on her tuffet with a bowl of porridge. The spider came down and said, "What's in the bowl, bitch?" And the whole crowd in the club just fucking erupts.
Dice Clay, he's the guy that clip from Tosh.0, the my client has the right to court a judge a gag. Yeah.
Who's the guy? You watched the New Year's Kill Tonys?
Yeah.
Who's the dude?
Brian Holtzman.
Yeah,
Brian Holtzman.
Out of pocket old dude with white hair.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh my god! I fucking died at his set.
Since you guys love or enjoy comedy, I really, really suggest that you spend the $10, $11, whatever it is, and you buy on Amazon Prime the Comedy Store documentary. Mm-hmm. Because they go through the whole shit. Like they start with Steve Martin and Jim Carrey and the late night guy who's got a big beard now. Letterman. David Letterman doing stand up and Deal or No Deal. Howie Mandel, him doing stand up, and they go into the Kinnison and the Dice Clay years. Mitzi passes away, and then they talk about the Rogan and him leaving, all that stuff. They cover all that, and they do a bit about Brian Holtzman, and they do a bit about Dice Clay. Dude, Brian Holtzman, he got booed a little bit, and people on Reddit shit on him. I didn't know how ravenous the Kill Tony Reddit was until like 3 months ago or so. It's a bunch of retards. Yeah. I got to be honest. It's a bunch of retards that love shitting on stupid stuff. I will say Rick Diaz won. I'm sorry, but Rick Diaz won. Like, that's not even a question.
The whole thing about that competition is that it's all the fucking sound of the audience.
Well,
so
no,
it wasn't comedy.
Dude, it's not even that. No, because if you're going off sound of the audience, Rick won.
No, listen to it again. Hans won. Hans won on the. And
then if you remember though, Tony had to tell the audience to shut up because they kept cheering for Rick. He let the audience go for Hans. But my point is that Tony Hinchcliffe is a huge pro wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. So of course it's going to be scripted. Of course, and in what universe does Hans Kim win? Right, because Rick is from Brussels. So he's not going to come in every week to fucking.
He would have moved Tony if he wanted. I don't think.
But how long does a passport take? And then with customs, like I think. So Rick Diaz is actually a smart dude. He did an interview with David Lucas. You should. It's like 30 minutes long. You should really look it up because he talks about it. He's like, yeah, I knew I was going home soon, so I was like, I'm gonna challenge. I'm gonna go for the guy. I'm gonna go for this. They already, and before I did that, they gave me 4 weeks of free Kill Tony. So I'm going to go for the king, and I'm going to do all this stuff because the worst case scenario, I make my name for myself and whatever, right? He played his cards as well as he can. But my point is like, Rick's not a stupid guy. I'm sure he looked into customs and was like, they're not going to accept stand-up comedy as a legitimate gig to come to America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be, no matter how famous Kill Tony is, no matter how big the mothership is, and whatever their, like, employment and like HR people at the mothership are, like, they, you know what I mean? It's hard to work with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he did what exactly he was going to do, and he wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to fucking win. But with Holtzman, he got booed, and it was like half and half on the reception. But I agree with you. Dude, he said some out-of-pocket shit, but it was like comedy, in my opinion, and the ratio changes for people. Comedy should be 70% funny, haha, hits my funny bone, and 30% like
bit of shock. I don't know. Shock factor.
I don't know if I'm allowed to laugh at that.
Should you have said that? Oh, that's kind of fucked up. But like, why do I enjoy it? And like, why do I? Because okay, so removing bombing due to inexperience, right? Remove that because that happens everywhere. I do it at least twice a week, right? It's a thing, right? It's a thing. But then you have like the experienced comic that will go up and they say some out of pocket shit they think is funny, but it's too offensive, like it's too on the nose. Whether they didn't justify it with the audience or they picked the wrong audience to do it with and build the relationship. The plethora of things that goes into saying the really fucked up stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That happens, but for the most part, the best comics in the world are gonna say things that, especially today, that make you uncomfortable, but a part of you's like, Dave Chappelle's got a point.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got a point. Brian Holtzman's like, hey, that's really fucked up, but I've had that thought like 3 times a week. That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I could repeat anything he said.
You can't. But it's fucking hilarious. It's funny. It's good. Like, it's like, it was so funny. So I went to a great example of this. So I'm working on a Jew bit right now, and I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna do it tomorrow night at the show. And this is gonna come out after the show. And the bit went really well. But
I really nailed
so
it.
every Sunday there's a writing class at Dry Heat that's led by Steph Darnell, and so the first half of the Jew bit is good. I've tested it out in front of pretty much every audience in the city for like open mics, and it's good. It hits. I'm like, all right, great. I know where to go with that. But my second bit of it, I don't know how to end it yet, and I don't want to give all of it away, but one of the guys in the audience that was in the class that Sunday, Robert Eisner, amazing comic, funny guy. I think you guys have seen him once or twice at Red Door. Mm-hmm. Amazing, fucking hilarious comic. Basically, so me doing the bit, our conversation led to him saying, yeah, but the Jews hate the poor. And the fucking room erupted. Like, what the fuck? It was hilarious. So I'm sitting there on the stage. I'm sitting on the stool and I'm writing in my notebook. We all died. Like, literally, even the liberal people in the crowd are dying laughing at this shit, right? And Steph is in the back, and this conversation had come up beforehand earlier in that class. But I was like, I don't know if I can get away with that, but that's funny.
Yeah.
And Steph was in the back like, it's funny. And that's my opinion of comedy, is like, comedy in its purest form is the art of pushing the envelope, saying as much controversial or reality-based things that you can say and getting away with it. Making light of it and getting away with it because the audience agrees with you enough to laugh at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fact that like all that could end with, but the Jews hate the poor. And it's like, bah! It's like, okay, in that context, how do we make that funny?
Yeah.
We know we can make it funny, but how do we get to that point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's where the real like professionalism in writing comes in, is just like,
yeah,
you can say fucked up shit. It's just like, how well written is it? Like, did you put the work in?
Yeah.
Like, to make it funny.
And
Yeah, because like you're right. Like, comedy is like, it's made to be over the line, and if you're a good comedian, you'll be able to do that. If you're not, people are gonna boo you, and
right. You just
you're gonna look bad.
You're gonna look like a real Nick asshole.
And every so often, rarely, especially today, rarely, but you'll have the whole Kramer incident at the Laugh Factory. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know which one.
Okay, so I forget the guy's. It's Michael something. He played Kramer on Seinfeld, and he was doing the Laugh Factory early 2000s, maybe even late 90s. But he's doing his set, and there's a couple of black guys up top that are heckling him, and he breaks out of comedian mode, and he breaks out of like his act, and it's like personal, and he's like, you fucking N-word, and he throws the N-word like 5 times.
Damn.
Yeah, hard. And that blackballed him from media. You know what I mean? It completely disgraced him from media because of like his meltdown.
Yeah.
Saying the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you'll have that sparsely, but for the most part, it's like, oh shit. Like the whole Tony Hinchcliffe thing when he almost got canceled in 2021. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it was all edited clips.
It was edited clips and bullshit, but then fucking...
Also, it was funny.
Well, it was funny.
Funny.
It's funny in context.
Yeah.
But out of context, I mean, even like out of context, you kind of have to go to a stretch to make it offensive.
How are you going to try to cancel Tony? Every single episode, he says something cancelable.
Right. Oh,
so.
yeah, well, especially now.
Yeah.
But like, and then props to Ari Shaffir. Like, if you look at Tony's full set from when he got canceled, quote unquote, his full set on Ari's YouTube page is titled "What the Media Doesn't Show You."
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful.
Mm.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think comedy is the art of getting away with it, and that's a lot of why I love it so much, is because I consider myself very blessed that people that I look up to in stand-up in this community, they say that my stage presence is okay, but my writing sucks. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Because I would rather have my stage presence be good and my writing suck than my writing be good and my delivery sucks.
Yeah.
Delivery takes years. That's your personality. That's like your aura when you walk up, right? Because you can detect.
Your likability, yeah.
Like, you guys watch enough comedy, you could tell, especially off Kill Tony shit, you could tell the minute they walk onto that stage, are you going to be funny or not?
Right, yeah.
With rare exception. But if I can harness what I've already got, my writing is going to get there.
Yeah.
Like part of the reason why I was late coming out, like in the shower tonight, I had something coming.
Don't.
We don't want to hear
skip past
any more.
that part, Noah.
We don't want to hear any more of your shower chronicles, man.
I slipped a finger in him. Bro! No, I had a thought come to me, and I was like, oh, that could be funny. And that could help justify a punchline that's really offensive, but a punchline I'm trying to get to. So I stood, because I'm a dork that fucking listens to music while I'm in the shower with my phone. So I came out and I'm dripping fucking wet, but I'm typing into my notes like what that could be.
Yeah.
So I could write it later on.
Before you lose the thought.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do that with
Exactly.
lyrics all the time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
The shower. The shower there's something magical about it.
Shower thoughts and shitting thoughts. That is where I come up with a lot of
Yep.
a lot of the comedy.
Yeah, showers are magical
Yeah.
if you do them right.
We got to get in there.
Yeah, deep.
Me and my friends were talking about this weekend. What if we had a shower mirror, but
Never.
on the floor,
Why?
so you could see and you could really get in there?
Dude, that is okay. That's the same reason why I will never let a chick eat my ass, bro. Like
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't
If you
wanna
had
look
the
down
shower
there.
mirror,
I don't want
you could be comfortable.
No, I don't want to look down there.
I mean,
Lord
that's what
forbid
I'm
have
saying.
somebody else look down there.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to look down there, but
Then
maybe
why-
you should.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I think there are things on this earth you shouldn't look at.
And for a man,
Like
it's his
porn.
own asshole.
Yeah, for dudes, it's our own ass crack.
It is scary.
I'm Mexican
It's
as
scary.
fuck, bro. Like I'm a hairy boy, and
Clip it.
I'm
Just that. I'm a hairy boy.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Bro, have you seen Adam Ray's Dr. Phil
yes,
shit?
Yes.
Yes.
Holy
Guest of the year, dog.
I've yet to watch the new one with Whitney Cummings and Nikki Glaser.
I've
his shit in general is so good.
Dude,
So
I've
good.
only seen the Santino Bobby Lee
It's good.
episode.
It's
And
good.
then he came on there. He's been on
on
people's
the
podcasts
podcast as Dr. Phil.
Holy fucking shit. I've never even seen an episode of Dr. Phil, but I know he's nailing it to a whole nother
Well, what's
level.
awesome, at least for me, about Adam Ray is that he's a funny comic already.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy. Like he gives off that, like again, your energy, your aura. Like he's a good guy. Like, he'll go on Kill Tony and he bought some random dude a hotel room for 3 nights. Or he'll like do this, that, and he'll put people on his show and he'll like off of Kill Tony. And like he's a comic that I think he knows how famous he is, and before the Dr. Phil stuff. He knew how famous he was, he knew how talented he was, and he wants to give back.
Yeah.
Like he's in my top 5 of like comics I want to meet. Like that dude, crazy. And I think, might be wishful thinking, but I think that is a comic that Casadas could book. I really think they could book that dude. You know,
True.
like if he's got a crazy touring schedule out for the rest of the year, but I think in 2025 they could potentially get that guy.
You see, they're trying to get him and Dr. Phil on the Kill Tony episode.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be fucking
That'd
awesome.
be
Yeah.
hilarious, dude.
He said it takes like several hours to get into
The makeup.
and
Oh, I'm
shit.
sure.
Yeah.
'Cause he's got a full head of hair.
Yeah.
That guy, like he's got hair like I do. Like,
Yeah.
he's got the full
That's hilarious.
fucking lock going. Oh yeah,
But those live shows, just the one that I've seen was one of the funniest things I've seen.
I've
in
seen a
so
couple of the
long.
ones he's done at the Comedy Store, and they're fucking
It's
hilarious.
so good.
And then
And Dr. Phil's cool about it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, he does other ones too. He has a character that he does. I think he only did 1 hour and 20-minute thing. And it's on YouTube through the Comedy Store, but it's like a super ugly guy, and it's fucking hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
he's just a funny character actor. Like he was even good. Did you guys see Barbie?
Yeah.
He has a small part in Barbie as a cop, and he's fucking hilarious. It's ridiculous.
Which one?
Do you remember when I forget who gets like locked up, but Barbie or Ken get locked up, and one of the cops that approaches them is Adam Ray.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about Adam Ray till he
okay.
was on his Dr.
Okay,
Phil shit.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, he's
ooh, write that down.
funny motherfucker.
On my Dr. Phil shit.
Oh, my Dr. Phil shit. Call me Adam Ray.
Yeah.
Bars.
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 Could be.
If there was one comic that you guys could see in an intimate setting, let's say 200 people or less, who would it be?
Mine's Gillies. I
True.
love
Nev
Gillies,
loves
dog.
Gillies. I also love Gillies.
I also love Theo, but Gillies is number 1 for me.
All right, so Shane Gillis.
At right now, either DeStefano or Stavi.
Chappelle's up there too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Chappelle.
Have you seen Stavros?
Yeah, he's funny.
So good.
That-
He's my favorite comic right now.
That special he put out on Netflix was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even his YouTube one is fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Dude, the YouTube specials are fucking great.
Some of them.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them that I've seen, like there's one guy. I'll say if you remember me or remind me after this episode, I'll send you one. This like unknown dude. He's got like 3,000 followers on Instagram. He's got fucking big red hair, big old beard. But a Springer has sent me a clip of his, and I looked at the special, like 45 minutes. Killer.
Yeah.
Killer fucking dude. I forget his name,
Yeah.
but a lot like the idea of releasing your hour-long special on YouTube for your own growth. I think that's one of the best things to happen in comedy right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
I mean, how many people have like gotten a special because they released their YouTube and saw that it was successful? They're like, oh, okay.
So many.
I guess we'll put you on then.
Well, because you bring up Shane Gillis, and it's like, dude, could you imagine how much worse his career would have been if he went to SNL?
Yeah. I mean, he still would have been funny.
I think he would have quit SNL.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. He's the opposite of all those
Like,
people.
have you seen his Gillian Keeves
Yes.
skits?
Yes,
The
dude.
OnlyFans dad is. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Where he's on the Sibian.
It's like, wait, $10.
His fucking his Guy Fieri is
Yeah,
that
where he's
one-
got PTSD. He's like, whoa, dudes, that was crazy. Or the Toyota Isis.
Yeah. Have you seen that? It's like it's almost like The Office, but it's called Tires, and it's on YouTube. It's like one episode, but it's like Shane Gillis. It's like the same kind of like Gillian Keeves cast, but it's like filmed like The Office.
I don't think I have.
Oh, you gotta watch it. It's funny, dude.
It's called Tires?
Yeah, it's only one episode, but I wish they would make a full season of it because it's filmed just like The Office, but it's with like that Gillian Keeves kind of like comedy.
Let's see.
Yeah. It's such a shame that fucking the Kiva
Is that top one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta watch that one. It's so funny.
It's such a shame that the fucking Kiva is gouging for fucking $30 worth of fees, so we can't fucking go see Normand.
Dude, okay, so I don't think that's the Kiva, dude. That's
the ticket company.
That's Ticketmaster.
But it's just like
because we were talking about that for a bit.
Yeah, and I even checked on the day that they dropped, and it was like tickets are $55. Like,
Did he already come through?
no, it comes in March, I think.
Okay.
But it's just like a $55 ticket turned into like an $80 ticket.
Well, my thing with that is with both Mark Norman and Anthony Jeselnik. Dude, it's like I have a bad debt issue. I need to get that under control. But
Yeah.
like I would love to see Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah.
But I tried looking at his tickets, and dude, it's the decent seats come out to like 170, 150.
That's absurd.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, that's like Bert Kreischer's coming here too.
I'm not gonna go see Bert Kreischer. I don't think
You don't like Kreischer?
not really.
What?
Not recently.
I
I gotta be honest. Dude. I tried watching his Netflix special. I couldn't get through like 5-10 minutes of it.
Oh, I love Bert Kreischer. I think just like the party guy in me loves his energy, like, and just like I think he's an actual good comic. But I think Segura's coming. Fucking, there's like so many people
Yeah,
coming.
Segura's coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, so many people coming to Albuquerque, and all the tickets are fucked. Like,
Well,
Norman's probably the cheapest one.
Yeah.
Because he's like the most.
Well, here's my thing. He walked out at the worst time. Okay, so here's what I love about the big acts coming to Albuquerque. Albuquerque is finally. Cause I know I've been saying I'm gonna leave to Austin next year. Probably not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I would have loved, like, I'd love to say, like, yeah, I'd love to go to Austin next year and I'd love to do all these things. Okay. But Albuquerque is slowly becoming a comedy city.
Yeah, they're finally investing in comedy.
And what's nice, and it's no coincidence that it was Dry Heat, and then a year later, Quesadas, and then months later, it's Kevin Hart, sellout. Trevor Noah, sellout. Bert Kreischer, sold out 3 shows.
Yeah.
Right? It's no fucking coincidence. Tom Segura's going to sell out by the time the show starts. It's same thing, Anthony Jeselnik. Same thing, right? But
Yeah.
my whole thing is that now that we have Quesadas and they're bringing in real acts, like they had Eric Griffin, Shane Torres, Ali Makovsky's coming, and I'm going to go see her. A. Marie, who's been putting me on her shows, she's featuring for Annie Litterman.
Yeah,
So
and
these big acts in comedy are coming. So it's going to keep justifying. But the issue, though, with these other acts that are coming, like the Normans and the Kreischers and Segura and Jesselnick, is that they keep going through Ticketmaster. And frankly, I don't think it's their fault. It's their management.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, dude, they're going to sell out because you're still going to have people from High Desert and Tanawan and Rio Rancho. They're going to go out and they're going to spend those tickets, or the irresponsible people in our age, they're going to go spend fucking $1, $1.20, $1.50 to go see these comics.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go do that. But a lot of people like us, we can't justify it.
Yeah.
But what we will do, because of how Albuquerque operates, we're going to go spend, because Casadas, from what I've heard, it's a legit club.
Yeah.
It's you show up, 2-drink minimum, no heckling, no cell phones. It's a legit fucking club, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I might not be able to see these big guys, but I love comedy.
You can see the big club acts.
I know who Annie Letterman is.
Yeah.
She's a killer. Shane Torres, killer. I'm going to go see these people at Casadas, pay $25, $35 and 2 drinks. Fuck it, I'll get 2 liquid deaths. Whatever, right? They'll go do that. Or you can go to Dry Heat, right? You can go to Dry Heat and fucking see the local shows like Zach Abeda and Friends. Killers every time, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I went to go see Zach Abeda and Friends the last time that he did his show 2 Fridays ago, I think. And what was sick about that, because Dry Heat's building their name, they had this Asian dude come on and do like a 15-minute set. He was coming through with Comic-Con, and he does like 9 of the American voices for Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And he also happens to do stand-up.
Yep.
And it was fucking killer. Killer show. So what happens is word of mouth spreads about Dry Heat. Word of mouth spreads about all that kind of local stuff. So it's like, okay, if I don't want to go to Casadas and pay, let's say I'm one person, I pay $25, 25 more, 20, so $50 total that night for drinks and a ticket. I don't want to pay that much. If I want to pay $15-20 for Dry Heat, all right, whatever. I can still go see good comedy.
Yeah.
All right, fine, whatever. I don't know. Comedy's continue to grow in the city. Dude.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's with every comedian, but some of them, what they're doing now to avoid that Ticketmaster like boost or whatever, they'll sell their tickets on their Patreon page at a discounted rate, and that way you don't have to deal with like scalpers and deal with like the resale kind of value.
So I didn't know that, but I know the mothership, they don't accept third-party tickets. They did it the right way, and Rogan also has that fuck you money. Mm-hmm. They did it the right way, and they're like, you can only buy legitimate tickets. They only accept tickets to the mothership from their website.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it.
Right.
Like, if you have the money to do it, that's the way to do it. Like, Casadas, I don't know if they can do that, but that's the fucking way to do it, man. I mean, I think now more than ever, with the way that social media has progressed negatively, the more authentic that you can be with your audience, right? And the more that you can be like, hey, listen, I'm a great comic, but I know I have a small following, the medium following. Here's my special for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Here's my whatever, right? If you can release your tickets at a low rate for people, and they don't have to, like, because I remember, because you had texted me when the Mark Norman tickets went live with the pre-sale code.
Yeah.
I tried to get the 3 of us tickets just to fucking go see, and they were like medium seats.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Not the front row, but not in the nosebleeds of Kiev or whatever. It was just like medium seats. I think all together for the 3 of us, it would have been close to $300.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if I can justify that, dude.
Oh no, for one night, absolutely not.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I get that there's an opener, and there might be an opener, and there should be a feature before Mark.
Yeah.
45 minutes of his comedy, I don't know if that's worth it.
For sure.
And that's the hard thing about Albuquerque is no one comes through. So if it's a big name, it's gonna be fucking high prices.
Yeah.
It's even like,
well, I don't know if I agree with that, just because the prices were set pretty cheap, like you were saying earlier.
it was like 45, 55 bucks.
Because we were talking about that when we went to the restroom. Like,
okay.
There was like $45, $50 tickets, but after fees, each ticket was like $90.
Oh shit.
It was fucking stupid. But like,
Yeah, I was peeing on my hands when you guys were talking.
But then,
about
for
that.
instance, Trip, another great comic, Trip Stilnicki, he was supposed to open for Mark Maron when he came through.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on this, but to my knowledge, like 16 hours, 12 hours before the show, he got fucking he got booted off.
Damn.
Yeah. So that show only had a feature and then Mark Maron. Damn. I'm not taking away from Mark Maron, but it's like, okay, was that due to ticket prices? Because Mark Maron, he's famously a club guy. Famously. So it's like, I hate to think that he was jipping out on the stage time thing, right? So I'd imagine that was like, oh, we're not making enough money to justify our food, hotels, travel, everything that got us out here, right? Per hour accountants. Our local guys got to eat shit. Sorry, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the club that recently gave locals like an opening spot? You talked about on a podcast.
Casadas.
Oh, that okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Casadas. Yeah. So Casadas, I didn't know that. And if you want a really good insight onto the negatives of Casadas, go check out the BS show with Blvd and Six. They did an episode, I think it was last week. So by the time this comes out, so 2 weeks ago. And I'm not going to go over it just because Buck went over it pretty well. Robert Gibson, he went over it pretty well. And then Buck is coming on the podcast with Six here in 2 weeks. And we're going to go over it in detail.
Okay.
The long story short of it was no comedian got any of their footage that they were promised. Because they had, before the club opened, they had their tryouts for the club to be an opener, a feature, potentially headliner. So it was tryouts on December like 3rd and 4th and 5th, around there. And then it was deciding time between then. But in that like deciding time, it was like, okay, well, certain comedians that are local, like Zach Abeda, Anthony A., they didn't have to try out, which you can argue plus or minus on that. And then it was all the comedians that tried out. They didn't get any of the footage that they were promised. And then, which is big, like we were saying a little bit earlier. It's big to have, as a comedian, to have that footage of a logo behind you. Mm-hmm. You're at a real club. Like, that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. Then it was most of the comics that signed up for the shit didn't get booked. Mm. And Robert's somebody that I trust when it comes to, like, local comedy. And everybody brought their A game. Right. Not a lot of people got booked. And there were some repercussions after he did the podcast talking shit about it because other people got removed. Some people got booked more. And It was very strange. It's very strange. You should go watch. It's very, very strange what happened. But I didn't know that. Like credit to Quesadas, according to Josh, it's, hey, if you're a out-of-state act coming through, you need to allow one local comic. Mm-hmm. And that's how it should be. Quite frankly, I think that should be a general rule. Do another ice cube?
Yeah.
I think it's... Okay.
I am anemic.
So a part of it is water. So you might want to pour that in. You might want to pour that in first because it's water.
The water?
No, because there's water in that. On this cube. Mm-hmm. It's been melting. So you might want to pour the water first so it doesn't get all over the studio. Ah. Yeah.
I thought you meant don't put the water in there at all.
There you go.
Yeah.
But my point is like that should be a thing for clubs anyway. Like support your best of the local comedians so they can get attached. Because again, just like we were saying for you guys.
That's
like,
what we're saying about the music
I
scene.
went and did Band of Enchantment. I went and did this and that. I opened for Shane Torres. I opened for fucking Tom Segura. I opened for Mark Maron.
Yeah.
Like that's a credit.
For sure. And that's what we're trying to get like with Sunshine and El Rey or Revel or something is like we just need the people in the building. Like we have the product, we have the show to entertain. Like put us in front of like any crowd that's ready to hear some fucking rockin' music, and we're gonna put on a show.
These are my drunk glasses.
He's turned into Nick.
These are my Big Daddy glasses. No one can see me.
So
Julian, Here I am.
So
But a lot of
is there a plan to get into those bigger venues? Like realistically speaking,
So
is there a plan
you
right
listen to
now?
that 5 of 5 podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I would think that would be something cool at Revel. I don't know how realistic that would be, but like if Revel could reserve us that spot.
Okay,
right
so
after
are
they're
we
done-
talking the piano bar or like the big venue?
no the
Big venue.
big
venue.
Yeah, the
Okay,
stage.
good.
Reserve a spot for a band that's proven themselves to, that they're actually good, can bring. It doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously it does matter if you can bring people, but you're not going to bring more people than would have already been there, to Revel.
It depends on the group, but
Yeah,
I
but
see what you're saying.
Yeah, but for a big national touring act, there's already going to be thousands of people there.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying if you could reserve a spot before the opener, like right after they're done sound checking, let that local band go. That way, the sound's already done. They don't have to mess with any of that. And they have a little bit of that pre-crowd that kind of, they might see that band and they might have normally never seen them because they would never go to that kind of show. So if you could reserve that kind of spot just to give a little bit of, publicity to someone who never would have gotten it. I don't know how realistic that would be, but it'd be pretty sweet.
Well, we've had local acts open for big acts. Like Vibe Strong is open at Sunshine a bunch of times because they're a reggae band and they book big reggae bands at Sunshine.
So can we kind of dig into that a little bit? Okay, so is there any possibility it's the good old boy system where it's like, I knew this person, so they got me into here? Because that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's not a knock, right? It's not a negative, but it's a real thing. Like, for instance, people were shocked, texting me, fucking calling me, like, how the fuck did you get on the news?
Yeah.
And I was honest. I was like, yeah, I knew the person that did the booking, and I asked.
Yeah.
And
How was that for you?
But like you guys were saying, I had the product to back it up.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had the product to back it up, and they happened to say yes.
And has that helped you a lot?
Real shit, not really.
Yeah.
It was a cool flex.
Yeah.
And so, like, what I was saying for you guys this past year is a lot of checking. It's like, yeah, I'm here to stay. I've got a good product. Deal with it.
Yeah.
We are the Slums of Harvard. I am this, and it's good. I'll be honest, dude. Like, I didn't think it was gonna happen. Like, literally up until I sat down with the guy because, well, look at the fucking logo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those cheeky bastards, they actually put the logo on the news.
Yeah.
I was like, no shit. Either you guys don't give a fuck and really like fuck with what I'm doing, or you did no, literally like head in the ground, no research.
Yeah.
Because I thought for sure, and this is not a knock, and this is absolutely like so many thank yous to Danny's chick and everybody over at KRQE and that whole team. Like, thank you for having me on. But I thought for sure, because it was like, you guys have done it, the whole application and like the images you send.
Yeah.
Like, I thought for sure the moment they saw my logo, they're like, yeah,
never mind.
But they were like, come on. And I was like, appreciate
But
you.
I mean, besides the logo, there's
Yeah.
nothing really that's bad at all about the podcast. In fact, your podcast, and I don't really listen to a whole lot of other local ones, so I can't speak for them as much. But you do a very good job of covering the local scene.
I try, man. Because
Everything,
well, it's a mixture of it's what I care about and it's right in front of me, but it's also like it became very clear early on that like, oh, if I want to grow in this city, I have to hit local stuff. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Okay, who's cool here? And you guys were top of the fucking list because of Nick.
Yeah.
Like real shit. It was Nick and Garrett. Like that was the top of my fucking list. But it didn't do a lot for like views or anything like that. It was more of like a check. Like the way
Yeah, it's just like a resume.
Yeah, like
thing.
the way that I saw it was like a pat on the back from God. Like, okay, you're doing the right thing. You are marketable. You are like you're on the right path.
Yeah.
You keep doing it. That type of shit. But anyway, with you guys going to places like Revel, Sunshine, El Rey, is that kind of on the radar for this year? Because
That's the goal.
It's been on the radar, but
well, I know it's been on the radar, but like let's say the more realistic radar. That's what I want to see from you guys.
Yeah, that's the
Because don't get me wrong. You guys are amazing with a 50 to 80, 150 person crowd. You guys are awesome. But you guys have the ability. You've got especially you, to be honest. to be you've gotten over the stage fright. You've gotten over the like stage presence. Like, how do I interact? How do I talk to the crowd? how do I like keep the energy high? Like, you've gotten over that, in my opinion. Like, you've done very well over the last year and a half. So it's like, okay, like you're just saying, you have the ability, you have the skills. How do we take that to like a crowd that needs to see us?
It's really just about like, it's about the perfect show, because a lot of times these bigger acts are coming through, they already have an opener or two openers on tour with them, so they're not gonna,
which is crazy, by the way, which also kind of legitimizes the necessity for like Ticketmaster and Live Nation, because they gotta foot the bill for a little bit of that. Well, because I think about that again in like as a low cost version of it in the comedy realm. It's like, if you're a headliner and you got a feature with you, you can't take that feature if you're like a medium to like lower high level comic. How much money is that for now? 2 hotels, double the meals, double the X, Y, and Z, airfare, whatever, around 10 different cities, rather than just picking up what they have locally. But that's where I have to think that like Live Nation and Ticketmaster come in and pump some of the money into the expenses, so that the headliners can bring a feature, they can bring an opener, or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, even like Cy Montero played at Sunshine for Lovely the Band, like last year.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And then Vibe Strong has played like 3 or 4 times, just because reggae bands will come through and they don't have an opener. And then the shows that are coming through that don't have an opener, a lot of them are being put on by third-party promoters. So it's not like we have the connection with Barney. We'll see a show and we'll be like, looks like they have an open spot. Could we hop on that? And like half the time he's like, oh, it's not being put on. Like, it's not Sunshine, or it's not us that's running it. It's a third-party promoter. So you have to go to them. And then you go to them and they're like, well, we don't know you. Yeah, so they're like, fuck off.
Last year, that face down apparatus, what is it? Red jumpsuit apparatus.
Yeah.
Red jumpsuit apparatus. They have the face down song. Yes. Anyways, like, that would be a perfect show for us.
Yeah. I agree.
And they had an opening spot.
And we asked, and then they had a third party who booked another local act who we've never heard of.
Who?
We don't even know. Like, we looked at their Instagram, we're like,
Who was it?
Who are these people?
What is the band?
We have no idea. I literally could not tell you. But like, you know,
I gotta know. I mean, I saw that advertisement outside of Launchpad, and like, you know, they put the fucking posters up in the bathroom and shit. So I saw that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's just
a local band. Mm-hmm. You're positive they're local.
Yep. Yeah. They only had like 400 followers on Instagram. So it's just like, it's really, I mean, obviously they had to have known somebody.
Yeah, it's got to be the good old boy system, which again, I'm not knocking. I love you guys, but I'm not knocking it. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, that's a bit of the game.
Yeah. So hopefully this year, like, with Bands of Enchantment, with the Best of the City, with all of these like things that we did last year, now we can be like, no, if there's a big spot to fill on a big show, we're the guys. Like, if it's a similar vibe to our kind of music, like pop punk or like rock or something, like, we're the best of the city. We should probably get that gig. Somebody should be hitting us up.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like, is there no follow through with like, hey, we won Best of the City?
I can't find it.
Where does that take us?
Yeah.
Is there no follow through with that?
Not really. It's just like, we got the award.
It's on your shoulder to carry that forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the necessity of the recipient to carry that, but then also you would think if you have the gumption to give an award like that, you should have the connections to back up why it's valuable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, receiving this award, like if I gave the OnlyKings Best of the City goes to the Slums of Harvard, Best Band of 2023. Okay, awesome, great award. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What do I get from that? Who can I connect you to? Where does my validity, where does my voice carry you to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's hard to like be like, oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's
like
it's
hard. Like, we're gonna guarantee you a concert at this venue because you won the best band in the city or whatever. And I feel like that's hard to do because again, you don't know what genre of band you are. Like you're not gonna guarantee a headlining spot for them.
I disagree on how hard that could be because like the Best of the City was held at Revel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the
they have
release
to-
party.
Okay, so they have to know the people.
Yeah.
They have to know what's booking.
Mm-hmm.
If they're choosing the Best of the City, I think it is in your best interest if you're giving an award, regardless if you're doing only audience voter based, only whatever judges based with audience input, whatever you're doing. If you are choosing between 4 to 5 bands, you should probably listen to the music of every band that's nominated.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be in your best interest. So then, if you're like, oh, I'm working with Revel, I'm working with Isleta, I'm working with Sunshine, El Rey, whatever. Hey, we're going to come to an agreement before we go to these bands with a fucking award. Hey, whoever wins, dude, throw them a feature. Throw them an opener. Just give it to them. Figure it out.
Yeah. Or
And
even
they
like-
can, and because that only benefits the legitimacy of the award.
Right.
And
Because I could go to a fucking trophy store and pay $50 to give you guys an award. Come on now.
True.
I can give you guys the OnlyKings award for biggest dicks in the city. That don't mean it's true.
That sounds pretty good to me.
I'll still take it.
Yeah. Oh, you'll dig it. You've got the capacity.
But
I have one cavity, a lot of capacity.
but you get my point, right? Like an award doesn't mean shit. It's what's behind it.
Yeah.
And and even if it is just bragging rights or if it is just like legitimacy, well, what are you legitimizing? What are you bragging about? And to be completely honest, to be transparent here, I got very excited when I heard that New Mexico Entertainment, whatever it was, this year, they added a best podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they added a best podcast host.
Yeah. What would that look like for podcasts, you think?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
We lost that award last year.
Well, I don't know what that means. Well, first of all, I don't know what it means because you guys went to it last year.
Yeah.
And you saw it happen. And I know the Mangoes won something of it last year.
Yeah.
Give me an overview with as much detail as you want to go into. Give me an overview of that award ceremony. What was it like? What was the production value? What did that look like?
It was not. I mean, it was like as nice as it probably could be for Albuquerque. Like as they made it as realistic as those award shows are.
Yeah.
You
They had
know?
like a host.
Bad host. No
Yeah.
kidding.
Pretty semi cringy host. And then they had people from different, different places, like different comedians awarding the best comedian, or Barney and Amanda were given the award for best alternative band, which we lost.
Who'd you lose to?
They're these new kids on the block. Thursday Marks Fall, and
Who?
they're doing pretty well for
They're very
themselves.
young. They're like
Whomst?
16, 17.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
But
they're. I mean, they could be good.
they're pretty solid. Like for like some like younger kids.
Well,
No,
maybe
they-
when they're adults, they will earn a spot on the podcast.
Yeah.
But,
Can't
but-
even drink.
Yeah. But and it was Barney and Amanda from Red Light Cameras like giving out the award,
yeah.
and even they like in the moment you could see on their faces like the envelope doesn't say Slums of Harvard. What the fuck? Like they
Dude, okay, to be honest, that envelope didn't say Red Light Cameras.
that too.
Let's be real. No,
So-
let's be real, man.
True.
Like, and you've admitted it yourself that Amanda's a better front person.
And that makes the
know what I
the
mean?
award less valuable
Because it's like you didn't
What
do
was
any
the-
research.
What was the criteria based on?
We don't know.
Okay, so
we've heard-
what you just said, didn't do any research. One of the biggest critics of New Mexico Entertains right now is Buck D, Robert Gibson, and
Yeah.
and he's a big critic of entertainment awards in Albuquerque in general because the people that choose the awards don't know the scene,
Oh yeah.
and that's why my question comes up because I take his word valuably, and so I look at this like, well, because a part of me, I'll be completely honest about this, a part of me looks at that New Mexico Entertainment like, I would love to win Best Podcast.
right.
I would love to win best podcast host.
To win an award just feels good.
I would love to win. Well, not even that. I would love to win it based on the community.
Yeah.
That because look, man, like I'm not the richest dude around. I don't have like I just thank God for this fucking. I'm glad that I have what I have, the lights and the cameras and the mics and shit. Like I'm very thankful. Don't get me wrong. But I'm building this room up into a professional setting. Right?
Yeah.
I think personally, and especially you've seen all of my sets except for one of them. You were never in the garage.
You've watched him have sex?
Yeah. But I've seen him go from the couch to the full production Brazzers set.
You've seen all of my production sets.
Yeah.
I think this is the best one.
Yeah. Feels
Personally,
great in here.
I think this is the best one. I also know what type of interviews that I've brought this city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think I'm at the top.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
And you have to.
But
otherwise you ain't gonna be.
Right, exactly. But then a part of me is like, but then who's choosing? And does it line up with my values? Do I want to be chosen by them?
And are they DEI, dog? Are they DEI?
Are they DEI NPCs?
Nevin loves
who are
trannies.
obsessed with OPP.
That's why he's been single for so long. He wants a tranny, a good, robust,
Well hung trans.
a clit the size of your thumb. You know, that's what he wants. Don't be afraid to laugh, Leroy. It's okay. Don't be afraid to laugh.
There was just a lot of letters being thrown around.
We're having homie time. It's okay.
I had to process all that letters.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, my point of bringing this up is, like, I would love to advertise that, but then I see all the criticism around it, and it's like, well, is it worth the award? But then I hear stories, what you just said, like you guys showed up, the Mango showed up, the Red Light Cameras showed up. The fact that you guys took, because I hold you guys in great respect. The fact that you guys took time out of your schedule to go to that award show in general.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try to win that. But then it's like, I've heard other things, and it's like...
Yeah, I mean, we've heard some other things.
I think the longer it goes on, the better it's going to be. Because we're still very young in this.
I hope so.
Hopefully they're taking some, like,
I hope
criticism and, like, growing from it.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of discrepancies on who won and who didn't win. So, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, them? Or that person?
Well,
or
in all fairness, like, Thursday marks fall.
Yeah.
Where have they played?
They're so young that they can't really play anywhere.
Okay. So are they the best?
No, you're right.
No? Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, like, is it where have they played? How many singles? How many followers? How much engagement? Like, if we really want to nitpick about it,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like if I was hosting an award show, and it was for the best, blank of New Mexico, and if it was music, comedy, whatever, something that could be quantifiable, I'm sorry, but to apply for the award, and granted, this would take a lot of legitimacy, and a lot of reputation behind the award coming. I would ask for, like, what do your stats look like? What is your engagement on social media?
Sure,
what are your streams
There's got to
like?
be categories.
What do your shows look like?
That's one thing that's frustrating too with booking out of state, and then with out of state bands coming in, is like you have an out of state band coming in and hitting us up to headline their show so they can scoop some of our fans on the way through.
Right.
And we looked them up. They're on like a 10-city tour, and they've got less followers than us by a mile, and they're in a bigger city.
Okay, so here's my question. Thank you for bringing that up, because I heard that on your pod with Pierce. Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand how in the immediate that would look like they're scalping our fans. But because they go back to where they're at and they book shows, would it not be in your best interest to go ahead and let them be on your show so that in the future you can
that's
get on
the whole
one of
point.
theirs?
Yeah, that's
but could that be a thing? And if not, Why isn't it a thing?
That's what we tried.
If the band is, because every band is trying to do that.
Right. So okay. So let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. So let's say we have somebody come through. They have the opportunity to stop through New Mexico, and it's like, hey, Slums of Harvard, we could stop through. Could be open for you guys. Could be whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Do you guys, in that process of saying yes or no, do you ask like, hey, where have you guys been opening or featuring, and is there a potential for us to open or feature for one of your bids?
Yeah, that's
that's the whole reason.
Yeah,
to
that's the
even
whole
say
goal.
Yes.
No, but do you ask them that? Like that actual band? Do you tell them?
Yeah, we've done it a couple times. Like
Okay,
even
good.
at the show, like
Okay.
they'll meet us and they'll see us and be like,
Okay,
you
good.
guys are fucking dope. And
I'm
then
not trying to call you nutless or anything.
No,
but
no, no.
I want to make sure you guys doing your due diligence.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know?
So like at the show, like there's a band from Denver that we played for last year, and the only reason we said yes, it was like a Wednesday night at some like venue we've never even heard of here, and we said yes because we're like, oh, these guys look pretty legit, and they're from Denver, and they're on like a 10-city tour. So at the venue, they saw us and they were like, you guys are fucking awesome. And we're like, thank you. You guys were cool too.
Who was it?
They're called Suitable Miss.
Suitable Miss.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
like a pop punk band. And they, and so we were like, yeah, it'd be great. And they're like, Denver would love you guys. Like, you have to get out to Denver. And we're like, could you help us? And they're like, yeah, for sure. And I hit them up several times. Nothing. Like, they just like never found the time.
And so I think part of the reason is because we are in Albuquerque. You know, like there's only so much, like Albuquerque's not a very like a spot that you really go through. You know what I mean? So if you're like a band that you like, especially Denver,
Man,
you're never really gonna
Miss
go through.
bunch. I don't know why Miss is their name. They're a bunch of they thems, bro. I mean, they're a bunch of gender questionables. You know what I mean? Like, all right, whatever.
But yeah, it's like we played several shows like that.
Female-fronted metalcore pop punk.
Yeah.
We're DEI complacent.
But
Love us.
So like when you're in Denver, there's so many bands out there. You have to get out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so Albuquerque is a very close spot, and we are the bigger bands in Albuquerque. So yeah, they're gonna hit us up. But when we hit them up, they don't actually have a whole lot of pull.
No, of course
because there's a lot of bands out there.
Of course they don't, because it's okay. Because it's. I mean, you guys, I would say, Slums of Harvard in the top 90%, right? Let's say 90 percentile, or is that right?
Yeah.
Or the top 10 percentile, because that only includes the top 10%, right, of Albuquerque. But somebody like the thems, they're in like the 90 percentile, so they have a bigger pool,
Right.
Yeah.
right, that they exist in. So that makes sense. So that almost, if y'all were some assholes, that would set y'all up to be the gatekeepers of Albuquerque, where it's like, well, what are you going to do for me, you bunch of motherfuckers? And that's not who you guys are.
Yeah.
That's not who you guys are.
But we are trying to, like, we're
But
not
you-
just trying to get these people opening spots and then not and get everything.
But there's a
from
business.
it.
It's business,
Right.
though. And I think people are so sensitive today where it's like, oh, they were being assholes and they did that. It's like, no, dude, like, this is business. Like,
We need to get something. If
like
we're gonna
there's
get
reciprocity
Yeah.
that needs to happen between our two groups. Like, I don't know, man. And like I consider myself a bit of a realist with most things in life, but
Racist? Did you say racist?
I think I heard.
I heard racist.
Oh, with a C.
realist. But, you know, depending on the day, if I'm in traffic and I'm like, you
You sandwich? What's that?
yeah, cheeseburger. A cheeseburger might cut you off the track, and you're like, "Ugh." But no, I mean, I don't know. I try to be a realist with things, but one of the only things I'm a bit of an optimist about is like, well, I would like to think with the internet, with the expansion of social media, and with things, you know, everything's so much more broad now, and like podcasting has exploded, and just the avenues to approach to find your art, whether it's music, whether it's comedy, filmmaking, whatever it is that you do. whatever your art is, the avenue to approach to that can be so multifaceted that, like, yo, there are enough seats at the table. It's a feast, not a famine. Like, there is enough fans. There are enough venues. There is definitely enough money, like, for enough to go around.
Yeah.
Like, but my only stipulation to that, and I say this very unapologetically, is that people need to support good local. Mm-hmm. Support local, for sure. But take it a step further and support good local.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, like, not every fucking local rapper is going to be the shit.
Right.
I'm sorry. Not every rock band, not every podcast. I can recognize that. There is a high likelihood this never becomes a huge multinational thing. But I'm going to keep acting like it's going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
But not everything is going to turn into that. Right? Support good local. And that's the whole reason I'm still doing this podcast, is because people keep coming back. Mm-hmm. Like, I love kicking. Like you guys, like, of course I'm going to talk about the Slums of Harvard and what you guys are doing artistically, because I fucking love what you guys are putting out. But you guys, in my views, I've become less Slums of Harvard, and we're just like, we're going to have a couple of drinks, just kick it with the homies. Like, we're just going to chill. You know what I mean? And I love that shit. But I want to keep evolving until, like, if you guys bring in an opener, when you guys get on a featured act, when you guys get the headline, you know, Sunshine and El Rey and shit like that, get the headline Launchpad. And I don't mean this is a knock, but, like, you get the headline Launchpad absent Mango Cakes. Mm-hmm. When it's just you guys and you've got one or two bands behind you. You know what I mean? I would love for that. But, hey, I'll talk to your fucking opener. Mm-hmm. I'll talk to your feature. Yeah, let's fucking kick it. Have a few drinks. Have a couple of fucking... Have a blunt, whatever, you know, just hang out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Like, I really do think that, like, support good local. Choose who you're going to align yourself with. And I think it helps everybody. Because talented people, like, for instance, let's say that we all went to Mark Norman, right? And his opener was someone that we've never heard of. Because he's attached to Mark, we're probably going to go check him out.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because we value what Mark brings. We value the talent. We value the resume. So it's like, oh, if he's willing to risk his money on this guy or this gal, we should go look into that. Right? And that's what you get out of, you know, fans or people like the true believers or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
And especially with, like comedians and music performers, you know, you don't want someone opening up for you that's bad.
No, well,
because then it ruins. It just ruins the whole theme of the whole fucking show.
Well, I don't know. I disagree in comedy just because, like, I've seen a lot of fucking local shows where the opener sucks and the feature, the headliner comes out and he's like, "Whoa!" and they just take out of the 40 minutes, the 20 minutes they have, and they take like 3 to 5, 10 minutes to just shit on that. Like,
yeah, now that's fun.
They don't shit on the comic, but they shit on the idea of a shitty comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because every comic's gonna suck in the first 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just how it's gonna be.
I think just like, and from like our perspective, like everybody in Albuquerque, like all the local acts should be striving for quality. So, because like the more quality shit that we have, as opposed to just like having so many bands, having a plethora of really good quality bands is the only, and comics and stuff, is the only way this city legitimizes itself as a stop, like as a stop on the road.
Yeah.
Like, we're only going to get better and better acts the better this scene gets.
Yeah, we're always the what's that? Not layover state.
Flyover.
The flyover state. There you go.
Yeah.
You're always you're just passing through Albuquerque.
Exactly.
It's never like there's a show in Albuquerque.
Yeah, it's always like, it's like, oh, fuck yeah, the Weeknd's going on tour. Oh, he's going to Denver and Phoenix. I'll go fuck myself.
You always have to travel.
Yeah, exactly. So, like,
if we could establish Albuquerque as a Denver or Phoenix, which we are, but we lack population
No, we're not.
and talent.
I gotta be honest with you,
But
bro,
we're
no,
the
we're not.
biggest city in our state, is what I'm getting
Okay,
at.
we're the smartest kid with Down syndrome. Like we're
Yes.
not, you know what I mean? Like we're not the dude. Like I understand why a lot of big acts don't come here. Like I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do get it. Like whether it's the crime, whether it's the lack of ticket sales, whether it's
The quality of the crowd.
the quality of the crowd. Like, okay, so for instance, a great example is Suicide Boys. They're a pretty big act, right? As far as like rap goes, whatever their niche of like underground, industrial, whatever that type of rap is called, right? They have a lock on that. So they came, but they had to come with like 4 to 3 other acts, right, to bring more crowd in. And dude, like it was pretty packed, but from what I heard, it was only like 70%, if that.
Yeah.
And then a big reason why like I didn't go, and my chick, she's a big fan of them, but the reason why we didn't go, I put a fucking stop to it. I was like, no, we're not going, because what if something happens?
Yeah, I don't want to be in
We
that
know
crowd.
what type of crowd that is. And I told her, I was like, you can go with
Which venue was it?
Isleta.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I was like, you can go with whoever you want to go with. I really don't care. Like, go with your friends, go with fucking whoever. I don't care. Go with your sister, whatever. I'm not going to go because I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Like, that's not how it's I literally only go to Isleta for rock. Like, I know what type of crowd it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to deal with idiot drunks here and there. But for the most part, I'm going to have a great time.
Yeah.
But with rap shows and other type of shows, like, there's violence at every fucking show. I haven't heard of one fucking rap show that didn't end in a fucking some type of fucking big old fight that broke out, or somebody stabbed somebody, or the couple times there was a shooting. Like, it just happens
Yeah.
for whatever reason. And I'm not surprised that bigger acts like The Weeknd or fucking whatever traveling or touring rap artists are going around, hip hop artists are going around, they hear about New Mexico, and they're like, I don't know if I want that attached to my name.
Yeah. Well, ASAP.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. Well, ASAP like got banned from playing in New Mexico. Is ASAP or Tyler? I think it was ASAP, because like he played here at like Sunshine or something way back, and there a full on riot broke out, and they. Like,
I mean, with ASAP Rocky, I'm not surprised.
but they like got him for inciting a riot, so like he's banned from playing in Albuquerque or New Mexico. So it's like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Just like sketchy shit goes down at sketchy shows with sketchy crowds.
Well, that's the thing, though, dude. It doesn't have to be sketchy crowds. It's just the Albuquerque population that goes to that crowd.
But how do we change that? You know,
I don't think you change it. I think it goes beyond you guys. I think, and that's why people like you guys have an uphill battle, where it's like, because you guys, a lot of your shows, it's on Central or it's Central adjacent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's either Sister, Launchpad, or Marble. It's downtown. And even if it's at Marble, it's Marble in what, second? First?
yeah, first.
First? Okay. So it's still fucking in the shit, right? So it's like, yeah, we are at least with Marble, you're at a trusted venue where people feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know. It's just something that you guys have to prove that the crowd over time is willing to show out in despite of the statistics. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that we've talked about too, like even on the pod, is like the crowd that we do bring, always a good time. Like,
oh yeah. No, y'all don't bring a trashy crowd, but it's just like the environment you're in. It could be a bunch of college kids. It could be a bunch of mid-20s to early 30s, guys, chicks coming out. But just like because of how Albuquerque is, all it takes, and I don't exaggerate, because I've gotten messages from people out of state. I'm not exaggerating. All it takes is one guy at the bar being an asshole.
yeah.
For everything to shut down. That is all it takes. Mm-hmm. In bigger cities, like I'd imagine, well, no, I've partied in Austin and I've seen it happen. But like with with Denver or Austin or places in Austin or like Phoenix, you know, they just take care of the one asshole, throw them away, you get back to partying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Albuquerque, the whole shit shuts down.
True.
And it's like, all right, we got to stop. We got to do it. Okay, because they're scared of where it could go.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I do not envy you guys when it comes to like, how can we attach ourselves to bigger acts that are coming through? I do not envy y'all. Because like, it's a lot. Because I've pretty much decided at this point that I'm going to pursue comedy.
Yeah.
That like, I'm going to do it. Like until it fucking, unless I get like a giant sign from God that you suck, you're not funny, move on. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yep.
How long till you leave Albuquerque?
I don't know.
Are you trying to grow in Albuquerque?
I want to grow in Albuquerque. It's and a lot of this changed between conversations on the podcast with Steph, Trip, and Zach Abeda.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it changed talking to them and off the podcast a little bit, but having them explain it in long form, it's become obvious that Albuquerque is becoming a comedy city pretty soon. And it seems that at least through the podcast realm, I like inched my way into it at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
At the absolute last second, to where I can build relationships with people and I can talk to people and be like, okay, yeah, we know each other do this and this and that. I can get booked here and I can do that. Da, 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 da. I'll tell you, I can't talk about it yet, but I'll tell you all some shit after the pod's over. But like, I might have a future here in Albuquerque. I might, but I don't want to squander that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and the best way I heard it put was from Zach Abeda, where he was like, I was going to leave, but I'm building my audience so well. And then I see Casadas opening up and Hiatus should be coming this year, that I extended my lease by 6 months so I can keep building. And I think my goal, like one of my goals for this year is to have, at our last Sunday like writing session, Steph was like, hey, you should really write out your goals for the year for comedy and all that type of shit. It's like, okay, my 3 goals for this year is to have a tight 5 minutes, like a solid 5. Second goal is 2 or 3 open mics a week. And my third goal is to open at Dry Heat.
Yeah.
That might happen. Like very soon.
Hell yeah.
So if these people, my thing is like, if these people have expectations of me, like tomorrow with A. Marie at 377, I said this on the podcast with Trip, like I'm terrified of that. Oh, dude, I'm fucking scared shitless because I'm fucking opening for Steph Darnell and BlvD. I'm fucking scared shitless.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like, oh, A. Marie, the host and the booker of that show, and I'd imagine, because she's been doing comedy for so long, she has to run the opener by the feature and the headliner. Mm-hmm. They all believe in me enough to be an opener. I'm not going to fuck it up. Yeah. I'm going to do everything in my ability to not fuck that up. And at least, even if I bomb tomorrow night, even if I eat shit, to show like a little like glimmer of like, oh, that's what he was trying to do, but he kind of fucked it up. And he, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, but to really like bring this all full circle, when do I leave Albuquerque? I don't know. Just because like comedy is growing, I'm building good relationships, I'm seeing opportunity, and quite frankly, me and Joey have a great space here, and I kind of want to stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this house just for day-to-day living, but I also like the studio space.
And that's a crazy thing, like how when success comes to you, it almost seems like it's like the universe telling you, yeah, go do that. You know what I mean? Like the people who you look up to are giving you a shot when you don't even think you deserve it at all.
You're completely right. And that's where I want to build here in Albuquerque, and then eventually build out to like where, because Zach laid it out pretty well, where he was like, yeah, I'm based in Albuquerque, but dude, for like the first 2.5 weeks of February, he's in Denver.
Yeah.
He's got like 10 shows.
Wow.
In Denver at like legitimate comedy fucking clubs. He's not doing open mics. Like his booked shows that he's advertising are shows. Like he's at Comedy Works. He's at their the comedy
Whatever comedy club they have
I
over
forget
there.
what the fuck it's called. It's like not Comedy Castle. It's something in Denver. But he's at actual shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then he has connections in Austin. And to be honest, him and I have mutual friends that are doing cool things in Austin that he's connected me with, and that it's imperative for me, like you guys are saying, going out of town for your music. It is imperative that this year I I go out of Austin or out of Albuquerque to Austin for a couple of days to go do a podcast out there. I know people in Denver and go do a pod with. I know people in Phoenix I need to do a pod with, so I can all go do these things. So I'm branching out my audience like you guys are, and I'm sure that's a conversation for you guys. It was like, oh, if we get shows out there, these people are going to be exposed to us. They start listening. They follow our Instagram, our Spotify, whatever it is, and we build that audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just met a dude on the cruise I just went on. Guy from Austin, worked at a bunch of bars, knows a lot of people. We're really cool. Big fan of Kill Tony, all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And he was like, I dig your shit. Come out in like April, May. Let's hang out. Let's go to the bars. Let's go talk to the owners. Let's get you guys booked. So we're going to try to do a little bit of that.
How was that? Dude, you went on like a trip to like Costa Rica and like Miami.
Fuck yeah, dog. Fucking took a cruise from...
With T-Baby and...
T-Baby, Raquel, Becky. You don't know the
Nice.
other ones, but yeah, T-Baby. Everyone know T-Baby.
T-Baby.
God damn, dude. We had an unlimited drink package. And from fucking, as soon as the sun came up, we went from mimosas to beers to pina coladas to fucking amaretto sours to shots.
So
It was
your
insane.
liver is screaming right now.
Yeah, I'm sunburnt. My liver is burnt.
My dick don't work. Didn't before, but
Yeah, it was fucking wild, dude. It was a lot of drinking.
It
I
looked
didn't
like
do much eating.
It
A
looked
lot
like
of drinking.
It looked like a fun time, bro.
Yeah, monkey shit on my head. It was fucking...
I was seeing y'all playing around with the monkeys, and I was like, oh, that's a risky time.
Yeah, I don't know what diseases they had.
whatever they got, I got it. 'Cause
I got it.
I kissed them all.
I went to the bathroom with one of those monkeys.
Yeah. That's funny. I don't know, man. That's cool, man. And that's like, not to be a fucking hippie or anything, but like that's one of the beautiful parts of life is like you meet people randomly where it's like, oh, you could help me and I could help you, and we like know different, like we know the mutual people and we can go here and there. Like that's like, I think exposing yourself to the outside world in the realm of entertainment, you know what I mean? And like opening yourself up to these connections where it's like, I don't know, that could really be the night and day difference in your career. Like, you know what? Like, if you just go out to let's say you guys are opening for somebody, right? You just go out, you do your show, and you fucking pack up and you go home.
Yeah.
You could do that. That's well within your rights. That's okay. But if you stick around at the bar, you don't have to drink. You could just have a beer. You could just have a whatever. You're just hanging out at the show, and people come up to you like, oh, I like your set. Hey, I like this. I like that. Hey, I'm actually on vacation, but I'm a booker from blank. Like, I had a friend of mine. This is the weird, and I am not shitting you. This is a real thing. I had a friend of mine from, we went to military school together in college. He is now the head marketing director of a comedy club in Miami.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And he hit me up, and he was like, hey, we're building this comedy club. I see what you're doing with the podcast. I see you're getting into stand-up. Let's get you out here for a weekend, do opening sets. And I'm like, the fuck?
Nice.
Like, what the fuck? Like, it's weird connections like that. Like, you don't know if it's gonna be a reaction a week from y'all meeting, a month, years.
Yeah.
But like every person you meet, you don't know what that's gonna turn into.
Yeah.
And most of it could turn into shit. You don't know. But like,
There's that one.
It could be something cool. It could be something cool.
Throw a couple drinks around.
Yeah.
You never know.
I don't know. It's just, and Albuquerque is so tight knit anyway. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows everybody, and there's like such a tiny community with like the reciprocity, and it's like, oh yeah, I really vouch for them. These are good guys, whatever it is.
That's the other thing kind of hard about Albuquerque is there's no one traveling through looking for talent.
No,
You know what I mean?
No,
Like-
but if you build a good relationship and you build a good rapport and a good reputation in the community, you become a mainstay, which you guys are doing right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, wouldn't you want that?
Yes, but what I'm saying is like it would be nice if like let's say we're doing exactly what we're doing, but in Denver and Austin. You know what I mean? We have a way bigger chance of that random person coming through and discovering us than we do in Albuquerque.
So yes, but here's where I push back on that, and this was that could open my eyes too. Was like it's one of those things where it's so obvious, but you need to hear it from somebody who's doing it for it to make sense. Build your audience as much as you can, and then some where you're from, so that when you go somewhere and they look you up, it's like, oh, they really are the shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just like with you guys, where it was like somebody opened for that band, and it's like they have 400 followers. Who are these fucking assholes?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, where it's like flipped, and it's like, oh,
Right.
they opened for them, but like
You see why.
they've got a legitimate following. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's
Yeah.
like max out what you're doing here and then some.
Yeah. Yeah, do both.
Yeah, do both. I don't know. I think, and I don't know what the gauge is for it, but I'd imagine it'll become intuitive because y'all aren't stupid. Like, it'll come to y'all at some point where it's like a few years down the line, if you feel like you've been doing the same thing for so long, and it's like, okay, I've got the feeling in my gut. You got a band meeting. It's like, hey, guys, I feel like we've not really pushed the needle in the last 3 years, 2 years. What the fuck are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
How do we evolve? Can we evolve? That might be an ugly feeling, right? Where it's like, can we push?
Yeah. I think it's good that we're like catching it now.
Yeah.
And we're still we still are progressing forward.
You are for sure.
And we're already at the point where we're like uncomfortable that more isn't happening, so we're gonna push harder.
Right.
So I think these are like
It's good that we're not just happy with what we have.
yeah.
Right. No, I agree.
Even
No,
though
I
like
agree.
tons of amazing things happened last year, but now we're like, no, that wasn't enough. We need to try harder. We need to create a more quality product, a more engaging product, and we need to just keep solidifying ourselves in Albuquerque and give people a reason to book us out of state.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like a time limit and you can get out of here? Or
Probably sooner than later.
No, I'm sleeping here.
there's a fancy couch. Okay, I gotta take a piss. I just asked I to take a piss real quick.
Cool.
Yeah.
And this one guy, he lived with his girlfriend, and they would make something every day, and not clean it up at all. They would leave
Like
like
the
food.
food, yeah.
They would leave food in there that they like didn't finish and leave it for like a week, if not weeks. And there's this one time, I had moved out by this time, but Leroy was still living there, and they made a crock pot meal,
Like French onion soup.
French onion soup that they left for like 3 months,
What?
just fucking cooking.
How did you not say something?
I wasn't living there at that point. I had moved out already.
Oh,
It was just
how
him.
did you not say something?
I just figured that they would be like, hey, maybe we should clean this.
After
Like,
3 months, dude.
there wasn't like 3 months. It was probably like a month. Still, way too long for a pot of French onion soup to just be sitting on the
For
counter.
a pot roast, bro.
It was disgusting. And
And the girlfriend was a bitch.
yeah, she was a
Fucking bitch,
she was a
bro.
real piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, every fucking time I'd be like, hey, she'd be like,
Oh,
Walk right into the fucking room.
You know why, right?
She had a dick?
She wanted
Oh.
to fuck you, bro. And she was like, I can't let my man know that I want to fuck one of his roommates.
yeah, I mean, we were never really friends, so.
If
If it would have solved her from fucking
Bro,
being a fucking piece of shit.
you ain't got, you know, you do not have to be friends with somebody to fuck them. Come on now.
Yeah, but I mean, she was
Joy.
nasty.
You should always ask her when you walk by. So you guys cooking French onion soup again tonight? Or what we having?
What's for dinner?
It got to when we had a roommate like that. He just refused to do the dishes ever.
How do you even think like that?
Well, because
That
like
was just like his thing. He'd clean
well,
everything
that was
else.
his thing though. I love Evan to death, but
Yeah.
like he would clean otherwise, but it just wouldn't be the dishes.
He just wouldn't do his dishes.
And the issue was that the motherfucker loved to eat, and there was just dishes fucking everywhere. And I mean, it happens. You know, I don't know. I love Evan to death. Like, I'm biased.
Dude, they got to the point one time where like I wanted
Any-
to see if he wouldn't do them for a long time.
Dude, any roommate whose name ends in Evan
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
I don't know.
Piece
Kill
of
him.
shit.
We had a lot of fun with that.
Fucking kill him.
If their name ends in Evan, whether it's Kevin or Devin or Evan or Nevin,
any other dumb name.
smother them in their sleep.
Any name that starts with a normal letter, but they replace it with an N to like sound
I
original.
mean, the fact that the current
Noah.
ending in Evan doesn't take the microphone out of your hand, that's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
he's
fucking
doing
check.
his job. This is his job
I'm
now.
just the mic. I'm just. Did somebody say boom?
There was a SpongeBob game based off of that specific episode, and it was fucking terrible. It never worked, and I was very sad as a kid. You're talking about SpongeBob, right? With Sandy?
Mhm. Yeah, the movie.
say boo?
Yeah, the movie episode.
I don't know, man. We had a lot of fun with Evan. That was a fun house off of fucking Four Hills. Yeah, dude. So it was funny. We were looking for a place because we were moving. I just come back from basic training at the time, and we were moving out of my less than 500 square foot apartment. Very tiny place. Basically, it was like a rotating door of friends. So I lived there permanently, but like you would come in and out of there. Evan would come in and out of there. Springer would come in and out of there. So it was like 4 dudes living in this like 500 square foot apartment, right? And so it boiled down to me, him, and Evan. And we were like, okay, we need to find a spot that's going to fit all of us. And when we found this place, we found out early on that realtors are not allowed to tell you the crime statistics of the neighborhood. So
Why?
Who the fuck knows, right? Obviously
Because of Biden.
because of liability. This was in like 20.
I know. I just like blaming Biden, dog.
Yeah, don't we all?
Thanks, Obama, for Biden.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Looking at Michelle.
I think
Anyway,
my favorite video.
You mean Big Mike?
Obama, dude, is when he's trying to dunk the cookie, but it won't fit in the glass of milk, and he goes, "Fuck, thanks, Obama." So fucking.
well, we're looking for a house, and if you look at the time, if you look at the APD crime map, where the house was in the Four Hills, literally was like the cutoff point of like it's like so Tramway ran this way, and then Central was this way, and the house was here. Crime. Just so much crime and then nothing in Four Hills. And we were like, yeah, we'll take it. There was one point, it was September of 2018, where it was me, him, and Evan, and then Springer and Dom were hanging out with us at the time too. But me, him, and Evan were all hanging out in the kitchen, and we looked at it and we were like, none of us are employed right now.
Yeah.
None of us are employed. And in like 2 weeks, we have to come up with $1,600. And thank God we had savings. Because there was a point for like 3 weeks, we were all unemployed.
Damn.
Just because like my orders for the Army got cut. Something happened with his work as like a lifeguard. And then like Evan's work got fucked up with the Army too. It's like, 'cause there was a point where...
You drowned some kids or what?
Pretty much. Apparently, you're not supposed to just kick them in the pool and they run by you.
I always used to fall asleep on duty, and they didn't like that.
I did all.
But I had
I
to...
used to do RKO's into the pool and they were in the shallow end, and they weren't too keen on that.
Why are you abusing these children? It's not abuse, it's education. Do you not know the prophet Randy Orton and what he has brought to this community? But no, I had to move to fucking Roswell to make money. I went and became a recruiter down at at NIMI, the school that I went to, and I had to pay rent to like that house and the place I was living at, and it became a fucking nightmare, dude. That was bad
Good
times.
All right.
How old were you?
I was
21?
It was a year before I deployed, so I started that job in 2018. Yeah, 21, like freshly 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough fucking times, dude.
Learned a
like
lot.
the house. The only reason we settled on that, one of the only reasons, is because we were trying to figure out 3 bedrooms, obviously, right? And it technically was a 2-bedroom with an office. And the office that I lived in, it was like you walked in and there was a full desk set up, right? Like, it was beautiful, like straight up. Beautiful desk setup, beautiful shelving. And then there was hardwood flooring that led to a window. And right under the window, there's like a small entertainment center where it was like 2 doors opened up and there's like a middle divider and there's a platform. But whoever made the fucking floor plan didn't seal in that entertainment center. So if you could literally uproot it from the ground and you saw the base of the house.
Yeah.
And so you take that out. Yeah, the concrete and shit. So we took that out and we put it next to the laundry room. And so the space between, so if you imagine like here is like the space in general. Here is where the window would have been. The back to the bookshelf is here. And then the back to the wall is here. A queen mattress. In fact, the mattress I have in there, the queen mattress perfectly fit right here. Like it just fell right into place.
God's plan.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P. the Queen.
And we were like, fuck it. We're going to send it, have this house. Because like at the time it was with utilities, $500 a person.
Oh yeah.
Kind of nice.
Yeah.
I think it
No.
was less. It was like almost 400 or something.
Yeah. 450. Right. 500 a
Yeah,
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cherry for back then, but we also weren't making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. We weren't making dick for money. But then, we all lost our jobs and we had to all like figure shit out and it became fucking nonsense.
Apparently, you need a job to pay rent.
Well, we
I learned
Bullshit.
Well,
we need
we-
universal income.
Well, dude, we looked.
Just kidding.
We looked into a house literally. So where we lived, it was a cul-de-sac, and our house was here. There was a house next to us. Nothing here, and then like a 1-bedroom big floor plan, or not 1 bedroom, 1 floor big floor plan right here, and that was going to be an option. But what's funny is the floor plan square footage for the 1 floor was the same as the 2 floor the 2 floor that we had. It was about 1250 ish, dude. 1 floor 1250 was what 1600, 1700.
Yeah.
Up there, right? Fucking ridiculous. And it was the same amount of money as this, with not as good freeway access. And we were like, nah, and not as good as storage either. We would have been fucked. It would have been bad. Anyway, let's wrap this bitch up.
Yep.
Where can everyone find the Slums of Harvard? Because if you've come into this podcast, you've seen these motherfuckers before, but where can you find them now?
Instagram mainly.
Insta motherfucking
Spotify, any kind of streaming platform. We're on that bitch.
TikTok.
And then we're going to be on OnlyFans soon, so subscribe.
Yep. Be on the lookout for some man feet.
Yeah, do some group man feet photos.
Yeah.
6 feet.
We're going to hold feet like hands.
Yes.
Ooh.
Toby's going to show that butthole, bro.
Oh, yeah. You're going to see full spread.
We got
See it.
Discount subscription.
No
over here?
non-shaved.
30 days free.
We'll work out a deal.
All right.
All right. Well, listen, I love you guys to death. You guys are awesome. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having us again, dog.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys for being the first guest in the
And we
studio.
have I don't. Well, it's not going to be out by this time, but this man has a comedy show, which is going to be lit.
That went so well.
That went so well. He actually is now going on a nationwide tour.
Headlining at the Comedy Store after tomorrow night.
NoahVComedy.com for all his tickets and dates. Check out his podcast, Noah V Comedy, on YouTube. And
We'll be right back.
And we'll be right back.
We're back. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Later.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.